Hello and welcome back to Arknights. Tonight we're going to be going through the event where Vernal winds will never blow. I'm Luce, and to my understanding this is actually a fairly long event, so I might cut it in half. We'll see how it goes. I didn't really go too hard on this banner, just to warn you, so don't get you too excited, but... Oh yeah, those are the... Investigation on site. War is never far. It looks like we're gonna go through the tutorial right away just to learn about the gimmicks here. Just cruise, huh? I'm sure I could beat it with just her.
All right.
This is human, the catastrophe dense beds are huge. What are you looking at? The enemy's attacking. Get ready. Alright. I'll help too, Instructor Doberman. Seems like a pretty standard setup. Defenders on the ground, snipers in the air. Snipers, oh yeah, covering the air rather. In good shape here. Am I imagining things, or is your shooting sharper than usual? You're not. There's Yenny saying that he who has the high ground has half the battle won. That's right, we're going to defeat Anakin in this event. Human's catastrophe defenses are very tall. Operators on them will deal increased damage to enemies on the ground and take reduced damage on type enemies on the ground as well. Oh, that's also true for the enemy as well. So keep an extra special eye on air. God, on enemies in the air. Got it. Wait. Wait. True for the enemy too? Yes. The enemy can climb here using ladders, threatening operators. Oh. So if I understand this correctly, range tile, they can walk on range tiles. This isn't technically unworkable. Most, well, not relevant in most modes. Indeed, most range operators do have a block count of at least 1, so that's not bad at all. However, they also don't, they're not very durable in most cases because, well, they weren't designed assuming they'd be blocking regularly. And also, they don't prioritize enemies they're blocking over enemies that are heading to the blue box, unlike melee ones, where they'll deal with anything they're blocking first. It would be best to stop them early. I'll help you out. Ladder enemies can use these to climb up and down. But apparently it's not a deployable tile. I'll keep that in mind. Oh no, that guy's invisible, isn't he? Oh, and of course he just walks right around Melantha. Why wouldn't he? The enemy's coming around. Don't panic. Roadblocks or some of the bulwarks will slow the enemy, giving us time to defeat them. Alright, I'll do my best. I'll help too. Okay, so I can't deploy her anywhere but here.
I'm listening. Not one step backward. Take aim.
Looks like we're facing some kind of lion enemy, Jekyll. It's desert themed, so probably Jekyll maybe? Hard to say.
Mission accomplished.
Dang, that guy almost smashed down the barrier.
I think we did all right.
I imagine anyone who's raised Tomimi is probably really happy because this looks like a time for her to shine. Few are those who truly break away from home. It's one thing to make me play Go because you're bored, dear brother. It's another to use the pieces to form the character for bored. I can see you haven't practiced the Go theory that I taught you. As if that would help me against you. It's true the character on the board doesn't look quite as nice as your handwriting. Why don't you find something else to pass the time? It's not really a Go game you're after. Go hiking, learn an instrument. I could teach you calligraphy. It comes to that. Go match may have been devoid of interest, but there's meaning in reading my opponent's thoughts from the movement in the pieces. Oh, what thoughts do you read this time? Well, Hey Lusa, what gives? The show skipped from episode 17 to episode 20. Happens with a scratched disc, must have been the sand. Just deal with it, it's not that bad. Well, if it's nothing but filler, you at least can skip that much. There's a key moment. Lee Kwang Yu and Shen Fibai were at each other's throats a moment before, and then suddenly they're fighting side by side. How did we get there? Lee Kwang Yu finds out that Feibai killed his Shifu and then sets out to kill him in turn. When he arrives, however, he finds out he finds to be a high-ranking officer in the military. With invaders at the gates, Kwangku offers a sleepless night and realizes there's more at stake than just personal vengeance, so he joins the Grandmaster's banner to face the foe. Simple story, but The Duel by the Cliffs is a classic. How many times do you watch that? And a child in town could recite the plot of the Heroes of Yuan backwards. There's one detail the gentleman left out, however. Kui Kwang didn't set out his grudge aside when he first saw him in the army. It was the Grandmaster who pledged to face the sword on behalf of Shen Feibai, leading to the duel by the cliffs. Cloud darkened by the skies, and the winds bellowed as heaven and earth were witness to showdown. The two drew their swords. Nonsense, nonsense. Title good, but details no good. You again, Hazion. Do you even know about enough Yenis to understand the story? Of course, the heroes of human tell a true story 50 years ago. Many heroes joined together. Even through disagreement, still fight together against any man or grandmaster. No many scenes shoot this in. Were shot in this inn. Looks like you know a thing or two about Yenni's history. Well, at least he seems to know his stuff, even if he doesn't have the language down, which is pretty common, I imagine. Of course, Grandmaster tell me when teach me fighting in Sargon. Master has a sword, but sword special cannot pull it out. Once again, how could you lose that feline girl so easily if you're truly the Grandmaster pupil? Rough feline girl, very strong. Why you look down on her? He's not looking down on her, he's looking down on you. Crowd's laughing. So the TV show was adapted from a true story. There really was a time in human when Kung Fu adventurers joined forces against a common foe. Something tells me this is going to be more than a little, relevant. Enjoy the freedom of being one's own master, but also achieve great things fighting for the country. It's pretty cool. Well, it's a TV show. The only people who know how things really went down historically are ones who were there. Anyway, swords and spears are out of fashion. If you really want to do something in your country, you should learn magic and become a Chanshi. How would a fortress like human operate without civilians working to supply its resources? People who came here to this cold and remote place when the city was first built, and the people who stay here, they're fighting for their country in their own way. The only thing in the TV show we'd know for sure, the Grandmaster is leaving too. Makes a good point. There's a lot more to military than just the people actually on the field. After all, like a common thing during World War II was that a lot of countries were in a total war state, where all parts of industry were dedicated towards the war effort. Even restaurant owners would ship out food and some rations to the soldiers because it's not just enough to have a big army. You have to make sure, those armies, the people within that army are fed and taken care of. Mechanics, of course, need to have supplies because, well, vehicles need maintenance. So there's way more to war than just the actual combat, after all. Away. Oh, Tiger Eye. Burly man. The medicine you ordered. Thanks, just put it over there. I'll have someone take it back. I got the creams for bruising and burns, but we didn't have enough supplies to make herbal meals. Here's the money. Send my regards to Doc. Oh, and we just had our supplies delivered. Takes them back to the clinic. There's a lot of stuff. 1 second, I'll get someone to help. No need. He carried the whole cart on his shoulders. Something tells me that's a bit more than symbolic, that he's carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. How did the clinic find someone so strong? Good morning, sir. Mr. Lee! I've been here a few days, but I've never seen this place so empty. We just linked up with a resupply with Longman a few days ago, only to run into catastrophe that forced emergency operation. Lots of merchants and tourists are stranded in Yemen, filling up the inns. Business is good, but also means more trouble, especially when people who are already frustrated start arguing. There are many who would love to have your problem. Although, come to think of it, my head would probably start to hurt if my little business back in Lungman started getting so busy. Would you care to start the day with some tea? Sure. What about that thing I asked you to look into? Yeah, the Human Arena Board of Fame records in the past 6 months. Not much I can do if the martial artist you're looking for isn't on it. So Human operates an arena this day. Such a martial tradition is impressive. The Lord Exorcist trains his pupils well. There's no need for folks like us to find the battlefield these days. Still, the martial artists need somewhere to hone their kung fu, hence the arena. Anyway, I would suggest you stay here a few days if it's not urgent. With so many people passing through, someone may have seen the one you're looking for. You could also ask at the south side Sword Forge. Shifu there knows the city inside and out, plus lots of kung fu fighters hanging around. Fast as lightning, huh? Alright, thank you. It's always tough when you don't know the lay of the land. I ask what this is about. Are you looking for a friend? An enemy? A debt to repay? Or a debt to collect? I guess you could say this particular individual does owe me a pretty big debt. How long will you be this time? No idea. Will you ever come back? It's all done. You know that wife whose birthday's in 3 days? I wasn't a good husband, and I can't be a good father. It's enough that I can achieve one thing in life. Trying to avoid the spoiler, but I guess the only actual full furries in this game are directly related, so yeah. That guy must be Waifu's father. Have to collect ants, gonna be tough. Yan's a big country with more than 100,000 souls living human alone. Not easy to find someone who doesn't want to be found. Anyway, your tea's ready. Would you like a side of Yemen sauteed meat to go with it? Sure, I'll take a seat and wait for my girl to finish her match. Lumen Spring Tea. Just came in. We only got fresh leaves like this once every few years. Appreciate it. Feels like a waste to use them on me. Hey, don't say that. We always value our guests. Spring tea from Lungman shouldn't have a better taste this time of year. It's you? We weren't supposed to meet here. Excuse me? No, you're not. Oh, you two know each other. Would you care to share tables for a pretty full day? No, we don't. I'm not staying long. Just a cup of tea. No, it's fine. It's fine. Very well, let me know if you need anything. Interesting. She recognizes Lee, but he doesn't recognize her. Did you mistake me for someone else? Interesting. How many fishmen are wandering around? Well, technically Lee is classified as the dragon race. He's supposed to be based off the legend of a carp becoming a dragon through a waterfall. Yes, that's right. Mr. Lee is, in fact, a Magikarp. Or Gyarados at this point, since he's post-evolution. You just looked familiar. Must have been an old friend you haven't seen for ages. I suppose. Stick to your tea. Have one on me. Buy me a cup of tea even though we don't know each other. All meetings are the work of fate, and even the ones that start with a misunderstanding. Here's to finding old friends soon. It'll happen when it happens. No point in trying to force it. That's an interesting answer. The answer lies not in the ones we're looking for, but the journey in looking for them. Talk so much to everyone. I apologize. Oh, are you leaving? I said I wasn't gonna stay long. How strange. Possible he does recognize her and is just trying to pretend he doesn't know, but... who knows, maybe there actually is another one running around somewhere. Are you sure you don't want to speak to the general first? It's been a while since the last time you came back. Father's a busy man. I should not bother him at work. Perhaps I am being too much of a busybody, but the Department of Discipline and Supervision found your actions faultless in the Shangsu matter. You should not feel guilty about facing the general. Oh, I don't. There's nothing for me to do at home anyway. I thought I might as well take a look around town. The Grand Tutor must have sent me to Human expecting something to happen. I should keep my eyes open. I'll come with you. It is official business after all. It's been years since the last time you were here, hasn't it, Uncle Tai? It must bring back memories. Things have changed a lot. It's impressive the General's been able to keep the people of Human safe and thriving, with constant warfare in the north. The arena remains as popular as ever. You still rank 5th on the Board of Flame. Fame is fleeting. I'd be glad to see young talent knock me off that board. The girl is in the ring now. Doesn't catch your attention. I was just thinking how your Kung Fu would compare to theirs. The Grand Tutor says the candle holder's duty is to carry the fire that drives out the shadows of the Faramut. Travel amongst the people, learn their troubles. A sense of duty comes first, shrewdness second. Kung Fu comes third or fourth at best. Indeed. So how do I compare then? Well, to be frank, while few are as swift as you, in a head-to-head fight, I'd say your chances are about 70-30. 30-70. In the other side's favor. Guess that means he's still got more to learn then. The pair have already traded a dozen moves. There's hardly time to catch one's breath. The cat girl advances, launching a flurry of fists to keep her opponent weapon in check. Kicks out her opponent. Girl in exotic garb goes along with it, leaping back. Hold! You're out of the ring. It's true that you couldn't make full use of your ranged weapons in the ring. The rules are rules, that's my win. You're very good, and I've never seen anything like your style of fighting. An awkward... Lose this? No more fight? Martial artists shouldn't be too obsessed with victory and defeat, but I can't lose here. Want the sword too? Sword? What sword? People in the city say number 1 on the board of flame can get a special sword. Oh, no, I want to climb the rankings so that my name can be seen. Number 31, so 30 people are stronger than you? I suppose so, yes. You are better than me. I guess this won't work. She's after something, I suppose. Hey, where are you going? If I win this, I have to make it the front page. I'll make it the front page of the Board of Flame, but will he see it? Round 15. Millennion was hit on the right wrist, right pectoral, central abdomen, and throat. Quibai was not hit. Quibai was the winner. Quibai. Ah, I would have died 3 times if this was a real battle. Real battles are about as much the mind as the kung fu. Who knows how things would have turned out? You're indeed the Grandmaster's student. It was humbling. Thank you. I would like to see the Grandmaster's comments. The recent ones are all here. The Grandmaster's been paying close attention to your bouts, despite his busy schedule, and he has high praise in particular for his swordsmanship. Something on your mind? I was just thinking what he meant by not enough purity in the sword. How long would it take for me to reach this point, where I can defeat him? There's no mention of the Grandmaster's Book of Kung Fu. I don't think he said to anyone but you. As for being the Grandmaster, I'm not sure how many in the entire world have ever even dreamt of such a thing. You think I'm crazy? My job is simply to follow the Grandmaster and record the martial arts of the world truthfully. There are many more people than usual at the training ground today. Why isn't he here? General Zhou has visitors. The Grandmaster is also meeting with an old acquaintance in the keep. I'll be going then. Zhou was honor. Why do you always treat me like I'm your senior, even though you've been following the Grandmaster for much longer? Grandmaster says the one who keeps records must be acutely aware of the strengths of others. You are much stronger and wiser than I am. I have much to learn from you. If you say so. Huh. The general knocks an arrow, drawing the thick bow so full that it almost looks like a full moon. Hand on the bow trembles slightly, and the arrow wobbles. The general's brow furrows deeper with each wobble. The arrow pierces the target, half an inch away from the bullseye. Good shot, sir. I need to flatter, I know my own body. I could still swing the sword and spear a couple years ago, but now I can hardly even handle a bow properly. Even if there's no need for me to stay on the battlefield myself, it's not proper to have a sick man leading the human garrison. My time is short. All the court knows their injuries bear witness to the decades of service and defense of Yemen. I'm not concerned about my health or life, but I have unfinished business. The Grand Tutor has instructed me to assist you. I will help you manage Yemen's return. The Grand Tutor say assist? I'm sure you understand his intentions. I haven't thanked you for your help in Shangsu yet. I apologize for the troubles he caused. He's still young and inexperienced. You exaggerate, sir. You must understand what a father feels. Jolie has done well, but he is in a position that does not permit any mistake, no matter how small. Oh, he's young and bright, a rising star. It's not unusual for young people to be a little impetuous. I would not worry too much about it. What about me? Am I impetuous to you? I believe you have your reasons, sir. Word of your benevolent administration in Shangshu has reached even Yumenlang. But have you ever seen a battle with your own eyes? There were pirates on the Shangsi River a few years ago, but nothing compared to the battles you have seen. Then you understand that making a decision in a general in the field is different from managing at a desk. The battlefield is ever changing when thousands of lives hinge on your every decision. What do you think is more important then, decisiveness or caution? The bestial sweet matter is pressing. We must act. I am much illuminated. In your position as advisor, you are on the battlefield and we are your comrades. I hope you understand my way. Trust you, sir. I give my all. However, the Fairma problem is neither administrative nor military. I trust your decisiveness, but I also ask you trust my caution. Right. Yeah, while decisiveness is important, I don't think one should be neglecting the other completely. Likewise, while it's good to be cautious, you can't exactly sit back the whole time. Another arrow once striking the bullseye. Would you care to try? Your reputation of a scholar warrior, especially at home with a sword and bow, as with pen and paper. Oh, he struck the bullseye square. The human bow is heavy, though. Do you feel up to it? Chief Executive of Wei and Wu of Lungman's here. He's waiting in the meeting hall. Very well. Mr. Lin's daughter was a few days away. About time for Lord Wei to arrive. Grand Tutor's arrived as well. The Grand Tutor and Lord Wei travel together. I expect Lord Wei's are on private matters. Official or private, there are still two honored guests at the same table. Looks like you're not the only one here to give me counsel day long. Ling. My dear elder brother. I had a dream last night. I dreamed I heard the wind rushing by here at midnight. I opened the window, find the desert become a sea of sprouting trees, and some of them even in full bloom. The branches of the trees grew to form a web, trapping human within. Few are those who truly break away from home. Do you still miss human? What was that saying you had when you left human last time? I forget. Neath crisp night merriment resounds, travelers doubt its true frontier board. A new one, it's been a while, looks like your thoughts have changed. Oh no, she said that. Yeah, yeah. Century is not too long, but I came back at this point in the dream. To me, 100 years is simply 30,000 days and nights. The urgent reports, the scouts departing, the messengers returning. The watch has changed innumerable times since you left, and countless new bricks and stones set into this wall. But still it stands. Do you see Nian and Dusk in Xiangshu? Yeah, they haven't changed one bit. They found a place to stay, a place where they can have fun. So you met our second brother. We lesser siblings always worry about our eldest brother, don't we? Dusk is a sensitive and thoughtful little sister, but she keeps to herself and tells no one, which is why she's often troubled. Neon looks carefree on the surface, but she fears loneliness more than any of us. She constantly needs something new in order to keep her mind occupied. I don't have much to worry about you other than maybe getting too drunk and forgetting to pay your tab. But as the oldest sister, without any official responsibilities, it would be good if you spent a little more time with your younger siblings. Do you accuse me of being irresponsible, big sister? How many families are like ours? For whom do I learn? I have to figure things out on my own. But our foolish sisters just don't know how to rise above things. They keep making it hard for themselves. Don't blame them for being self-troubled. Put yourself in their shoes. You may not find it easy to free yourself from troubles. I'm not as free as you are. After all, you've managed to completely cut yourself off and find an entirely new self. The name Shuo and the liver of the soul are sealed within the sword. Now I'm just an ordinary man who knows a little bit about Kung Fu. A little? How many martial artists would abandon their careers if they heard you say that just now? Take into account the fact that I have centuries of practice, perhaps I should call myself a little less than ordinary. The sand there churns through tons of sand every second, clearing a path for humans' advance. The massive nomadic city travels towards new goal at high speed. Where are you planning to go after you leave, human? I'll go south to see the bridges and streams, some of the new Heartland brew, or see the place where Nian and Dusk are staying at. The Zhangyu world is big, and there are plenty of places to go. But I suppose all the people with whom I've shared a toast are gone now. In the distance, the heat rising from the oceans of sand warps heaven and earth. The wind is weak by the time it reaches the tower. The sand in the wind touches its cheeks, almost like a caress. 3,000 miles of yellow sand in the blink of an eye. Check the serial numbers on the gear. It's a catastrophe messengers group, which should have been back this morning. Traces of originium explosives. The body's probably crystallized and turned to dust. Watch out for originium residue. This is less than 2 hours from the city. Who would attack a catastrophe messenger on official business so close to Nomadic City? Everything valuable's been taken. It would make sense if this was the work of bandits. Someone wants to make it look like the work of bandits. Keep looking. We need to find the catastrophe survey data. That's missing, then we'll know what they were after. Found it. It was a little further away, under a piece of broken armor. So they weren't after it. They protected it with their lives. Ah. There's no time. Get back to the city, but keep your eyes open. I see. Either they were hit by bandits or people trying to pretend to be bandits. And they were actually after that stuff. No way for peaches to grow in the Lord Exorcist's courtyard. Looks like a pretty easy place to defend. You know what? Let's go with the rabbits team. I've attempted to look up other rabbit clears, see what other rabbit knight players have been doing, but it's not a complete niche, so very few people do. I mean, half the results I got was someone who uses rabbits plus whatever else. Like, they cleared the Reed event with them, except they also use Nightingale, Myrtle, and some others. They also managed to beat Dazzle's Holiday, but they kept using, again, more non-rabbits in there, so I'm not sure that's going to work here. We should be safe now that we made it to Yemen. Don't let your guard down. We will return to the barracks and present the data to the Imperial Astronomical Bureau first, and will report to General Zhao about the situation outside the city. Of course. Not a second after I finish. An ambush. Prepare. Protect Envoy Lin and fall back. No need. We're already surrounded. Who goes there? How dare you intercept a military unit? Mysterious criminal. Watch out, Envoy Lin. She's a phalanx caster. I'm pretty sure she arts to turn sand into glass. How quaint. I had a feeling things weren't quite right since we made it to the city. I take it you're after catastrophe observation data. You killed the entire team of messengers, but you couldn't find it, so I had no choice but to arrange the crime scene to look like they were robbed by bandits. How shabby. Kill the brawl first. You must be holding the target. Watch out for our arts. Think you have the advantage because you have more men? British, a mace flies through the air and smashes into the scoundrel standing in front of Lin until he crashes into the road's flagstones, shattering them to pieces. The mace could not be more normal, but it must have seen better days given how smooth the surface became. Man steps forward to pick it up, stands in front of Lin, a regular bladesmith, his face scalded by the red flames of his forge and plowed to a heavy ravine by the sandstorm. War drum, it's crude yet firm, tough nonetheless. Impudence! Uncle Ming, I'll go after them. Yo, we must first check on the warriors with all haste. Okay. That's a hammer. Scoundrels are ruthless with their attacks, so right, fair lady. It's fine. They do not have what it takes to hurt me. Some of the men are injured. Their lives are not in danger, though, only passed out. They dare look for trouble with government troops in broad daylight. Makes me wonder where those people came from. Uncle Ming, what do you say? I take one of them back for interrogation. We don't know the first thing about the enemy. You must learn not to be so rash. Judging by your outfit, you're not from Yuan, yet you have the protection of Yuan's forces. I must assume you are no ordinary lady. May I ask why these bandits are giving you trouble? I'm on official business. Do not ask further. You little... Who are you? Why are you here? The name's Ming Tai. I run a sword forge in the southern end of the city. This is Du Yaoye. She came here from Shangshu. I own Zhengyu Logistics, Yuman's top logistics company. We're heading to the city gate to arrange a welcome. This is the first time the guys I brought with me from Shangshu are on a human job. It's a huge gig. They're escorting a catastrophe messenger even. Of course I want to be here to welcome them. Judging by the time, they should be back soon, Uncle Meng. Oh, I think you've got some bad news. Mr. Messenger, I have a feeling you don't need to go. We taken a fancy to another weaponeer in my tent? It's fine, I've no need for all these. If you'd like, perhaps you could take my army's entire armory with you back to Lagman. Please, Lord Exus, even if you had no need for all these armaments yourself, Human needs them for its defense. If memory serves me right, you and I made a bet a decade ago, and you made off with a fine blade I had only just obtained. Then 5 years ago, you made off with the bow that Hanshi Bureaus bestowed upon me after a bit of drinking. Then allow me to invite you to another round of drink today. Please win if that's your wish. Hold back no more. I'm joking. All these years, Lungman has been providing Human with the resources we need, and not once have we seen a delay in shipments. Based on this fact alone, I certainly should have sent you a few gifts myself. It's the least I could do. But as Chief of Lungman, I understand you have plenty on your plate. Certainly, you must have more important to attend to than visiting Human today. You could say I'm not here for business. A few days without Chief Wei won't see Lungman fall into chaos. It's not so bad if Wei and Wu finds some time to pay an old friend a visit. Hap so happens the Grandmaster's retirement is near, and I'll be there in attendance. His retirement is indeed quite troublesome. That blade of his requires the most attentive treatment. Well, it seems in the end, the most troublesome topic falls to me to explain. Oh, so he's the Grandmaster. Ah, Grandmaster, Miss Ling. Long time no see. Been some time indeed. Ah, with so many old friends in attendance, that's enough reason for a drink. Have you perhaps prepared wine for us, General Zhao? Given your service to human, it would be my honor to share a drink with you, Miss Ling. That said, I'm afraid it must wait for another time. I've heard you already made up your mind. You wish to bestow your blade upon the winner of the Kung Fu Scramble. Martial arts are merely the first of many ways I'll be evaluating prospective successors. I'll be judging whether they're worthy of my blade via other means, and I was under the impression you would have known this long ago. The circumstances were a bit different last time you brought this up. And if I am to say, although this blade must eventually be given to someone suitable, it's not the most opportune time to do so. Grandmaster, of all this time, of all the men and women in our whole army, you've never seen a suitable candidate? I have the gathering. My apologies for not personally receiving you, Grand Tutor. It's been far too many years. You seem as spirited as ever, Grand Tutor. All of you are outstanding citizens who defend the peace of Great Yan's borders. Your magnificence gathered together in one place is truly a sight for sore eyes. Alas, we have no time for idle conversation today, for we have more urgent matters at hand. We've all gathered, General Zhou. Send the men away. On my way here, I just so happened to have come across a returning patrolman. Let us listen to him. 4 hours ago, a man on the city walls noticed a distress signal from afar. When we got there, we found a catastrophe messenger team that human deployed 3 days ago had been wiped out. Oh yeah, did you not design the banner yourself? Why pack it up? Are you perhaps not considering making your way home? Are you regretting letting the keys go on this job? Regretting not going with them. Heard the envoy just now. Out of a team of 10, not one survived. The moment they got the distress signal, they immediately left to give their assistance, and they were killed on their way back. These are not roving bandits we're dealing with. What could you have possibly done to change outcome if you were there? Meg, I'm guessing you must have seen things happen like this happen many times before. What do you think? Over a decade ago, the Zhengyu Escort Association came back to Human for a few jobs. That was when your father and I met each. We had a little contact with each other the past few years, but our relationship goes deep. He often talks about you too. 2 weeks ago, you came to my forge and told me you want to start your own logistics company. It may have only been a decade or so, but much has changed over the years. It's nothing strange for youngsters who want to strike out on their own. On top of that, your knowledge of the escort business and wilderness survival is no worse than any old veterans. I should have expected no less from that Asker of Frost's daughter. This is why I took you in. I know little about modern logistics, but having spent all those years in Lungmen, I could at least find some opportunities for you. In hindsight, it would seem I led your friends undoing. I was the one who brought them to Human. I was also the one to send them on this job. The deaths are on me, and I won't shirk that responsibility. What puts my mind at ease, you have that resolve. Be it the Escort Association or a logistics company, things will always be the same. For the sake of our livelihood, we put our lives on the line. If you wish to name yourself in this business, you need to understand how heavy the weight of on your shoulders is. Yo, yeah, it doesn't matter whether this is the path you will end up taking or not. I want you to remember how you feel this very moment for the rest of your life. Of course I'll remember, but I won't let the culprit get away with killing them. Well, this has been another productive day for you, hasn't it? Try to get some rest now. I've left your 2 dishes. The cooks have reheated already. Ian has a chef of truly magnificent culinary skill. It makes me want to learn a couple things from him. I'm hungry, I can't eat this right now. You can look for your good-for-nothing father, but you need to eat nonetheless. Without the stamina, how are you going to beat him when you find him? Picks up the chopsticks silently. What happened to your hand? I scraped myself in a match day, but a wound like this is nothing. Humans arena's open all day long, and I was up against lots of tough opponents, and I won in the end. That explains why the innkeeper has so many medicines in stock. Wait here, I'll bring you some. Show me your hand. Only times like these I remember your Y Tinpu, or I guess he's Y Timpa is his daughter. We're nothing alike. He's a grown man, but he shirks all responsibilities and washes his hands of everything. That's generally the impression we've gotten of him so far, yes. I've been living a fairly decent, productive life of my own, but he was already a lawbreaker back when I was a kid. You're exactly right. That's why we should take him straight to the nearest LGD office the moment we find him. Uncle Lee, do you really think he's here in Human? I heard a rumor that someone saw him a year ago. It's from your Uncle Lang, and I have no choice but to believe him. If he's really in Human, he has to have seen my name on the rankings of the city gate by now. In so many years, at least he could have done a stop by check on me when he passed through Lungman. Does that mean he doesn't care, or is he trying to avoid me? Now, I can't see how fathers feel about their daughters. Blood is thicker than water. Nothing changes that. Yeah, it's made very clear Lee has been a better father figure to her than an actual father. I have faith that you two will see each other one day. The question is whether you two will find the answers you seek once you meet. Actually, I'm still not sure I'm even prepared to see him. In that case, let's say we walk outside right now and we bump into him. What will you do? I'll break his jaw. It's good to think about things, but it's also good to have a plan in case it immediately happens. That concludes my summary. The catastrophe data has been sent to the Imperial Bureau's observatory, and a provisional new course has been charted based on the computer computation results. The injured men have all been sent to the infirmary, and Envoy Lin is currently investigating the rest. Thank you, you're excused. I can't remember what voice I gave way back during the early chapters 7 and 8 when I did those on stream. Catastrophe is approaching, and I allowed this to happen within humans' borders at a crucial time. I apologize for my negligence. Do not belittle yourself so. The most important thing right now is to find the identity of our malefactors. Your thoughts, Lord Exorcist. The Shanazong. They should have been eradicated 20 years ago. The wild hunt of the Fernmouth 1,000 years ago ended the era of their rampage across the land of Great Yan, yet this was unable to quell the masses' reverence of those terrible monsters. There have always been those who worship the Fairmont's power and revere them as gods. They consider themselves followers of the Fairmonts and gathered together to locate any traces of them. The Sui regulator has for a long time been tracking the movements of this lawless organization, and ever since the offender's commotion, it's like the rebels have been inspired by something. They've been growing more and more active. They call themselves the Shanizong. The Mount Seas and all in between shall be our masters, or so they claim. Their motto couldn't be any more absurd, but it's attracted a great number of followers to join their cause. Not only do they have adherents from a variety of backgrounds far and wide, they even been plotting atrocities in the name of the Farenmuts. Hard to imagine, though, there are those who find it harder to put this 1,000-year grudge behind them than us. It's been 2 decades. In 2 decades, this is their second time making trouble here in Yom. Human is itself is a symbol of Yan's triumph over the Farenmuts. These villains naturally have a reason to do it harm. And with humans set to sail afar, the Shanizong's actions point directly to the information regarding the oncoming catastrophe. I can only assume they managed to learn of Yuan's destination. Investigate this immediately and ensure the peace. They'll accept no failures. They did not succeed 20 years ago. They will not succeed this time. The reason I summoned all of you here today is to discuss what to do with the Grandmaster's sword. After what happened in Shangsu, there's no doubt the offender has already made contact with the proxies. Sealed with the Grandmaster's sword is 1/12 of the bestial Sui's consciousness. And isn't this precisely why we must underplay the transfer of the sword? As things stand, the 180 black stones are yet missing. No one knows where his next move will lead us. Should we treat the world's affairs as a game of Go, no one can claim to be the best him in terms of calculations. There's very little distance between him and the Soy regulator. To leave the regulator in charge of the sword will only achieve the opposite of what we intend. Against such an opponent, an irrational move might actually be the most brilliant one. Finding a suitable outsider to take the blade could very well be the solution we need. My little brother's caused you so much trouble, after all. This is both the Grand Tutor and Grandmaster's intention. I have no objection. Grandmaster, is something the matter? Assist the Lord Exorcist in suppressing the Shanizong. This will be the Sui Regulator's last task for you. Once a suitable candidate has been found, the court will allow you to roam free within Yan's borders and interfere with you no longer. Human citizens may not know your game, even though you and I will no longer live in 100 years. The scrolls in the Sui Regulator's libraries will record everything you've done for Yan. With my dream about to be realized, I've no reason to complain. I simply do not know whether I should lament that I will not get to stay with the city in its final moments. Something on your mind, Miss Ling? If you smell something floral, perhaps? I would say peach blossoms. Peach blossoms? Located in a harsh, desolate sandpit, there's no way for peaches to grow in the Lord Exorcist's courtyard. Likewise, peach trees do not bloom this time of year in Human. However, evident attendants could smell the thick aroma of peaches wafting through the window, like a moonlight peeking through. They also see a single vividly red petal drifting into the hall and gently flowing downward. Well, if that isn't strange. Watch out! The blade appears almost out of thin air. The tip pauses not an inch away from Wei and Wu's throat. The freezing chill pierces Flashes of everyone in the room, and just the soothing aroma of the flower quells any discomfort they had. You caught my blade with your bare hand. You can take pride in that. With your advanced kung fu, why do something as vile and base as ambush us? I have a question for you myself. With your immense power, why opt for that frail body? You know me? Ling, I follow. Grand Tutor, General Zhao, okay? We're fine. Think someone could dodge a concert attack from both Lord Wei and the Grandmaster. Unbelievable! Thank you for your assistance, Grandmaster. Given her prowess, she must be skilled in much more than just melee combat. Grandmaster, the sentries will be here soon. Let us prioritize in capturing the assassin. Be careful. Fine lady, leaving us after scattering these petals around us. If you disturb our gathering, why not stay a little longer? Let us see what you're trying to keep me here with. A dream? Tell this is a dream? You still have this power, even after dividing yourself into twelfths. Oh, you know, not only me, but him as well. I want to see him, and you are not him. I am I, naturally, and why do you wish to see him? Even a dream, I don't want to waste any time on you. Your fanciful dream cannot keep me here. It seems you've dreamt for a long, long time yourself. Now that you've awakened and returned to the mortal realms, it seems hostilities are unavoidable. You want my life? Perhaps you should tell me what kind of grudge you have against me. I don't need to have a grudge against you to want your life. Kung Fu is fine in the place of a grudge. We have another taste of your prowess. You don't deserve it. The woman takes a step back. Her blade slashes the air like a blast of wind. Nonetheless, the tip of her blade is an inch too low from her target. Sharp as it may be, her target is unharmed. So strong near the city walls. Do not let the sand blind you. Do all of you have a catchphrase to drop before you attack? Interesting, the Rat King, but that was listed as Lin. Enough. You have nowhere to run. Surrender. You have quite the party here. The woman slowly raises the sword in her hand. The gleam reflected by its blade shines just like the moon above. The moonlight itself is an opportunity in the dark sky, for which the awakening of spring flows abundantly. Though it is mid-March, the peach trees are blooming as vibrantly as can be. There are no passerbys to be found anywhere, and only the aroma of flowers linger in the area. But if I don't want to stay, can any of you really keep me here? It'd be funny if we fought to the boss early. Well, no, in in one of in earlier events we had
Let's
that.
go.
Ah, there's someone who can handle this.
Is this a good spot?
Yeah, Cruise Altar should be good here.
Ready to heal.
Yeah, the nice thing about a puller like rope
Straight up fights.
is they can be on range or melee tiles, so they're perfect for an event like this. Interestingly, I did actually see a rabbit clear that was pure rabbits, and it was for the Ilsur Kasano event boss. Although, granted, it relied a lot on RNG of,
I don't really do straight up fights.
yeah, Rope's special talent here had to be abused to make it happen. He's definitely prioritizing range, but that's fine. I could probably spawn camp better, if we're completely honest. This is just the first stage, but... Oh, whatever. Yeah, I imagine that person had to reset a lot, because...
Okay. I don't really do straight up fights.
This is, for the record, this is a rope with her maxed out module, so this is the highest physical dodge she can get. So I can't imagine how, I can only imagine how many times they had to reset to get that run. Makes it all the more impressive, though. And if we're honest, it's not too hard to reset, it's just a little time consuming, but I assume if you're going to do a clear show off, you'd probably want to take that time.
Mission accomplished.
Who goes there? Stop right there. Know where you are and exactly what the sword you're holding is? Sword, the sword that I have been looking for. Let us set aside the question for the time being who it is you're working for and how you made your way here. Have the sword, and I'll take you to the Grandmaster. Fickle-minded, perfidious man like him does not deserve to keep the sword. Impudence, the Grandmaster's defended Newman's peace for 100 years. Do you speak ill of him? How pretentious, what do you even know? Out of my way. I've arrested no small number of criminals, but the first one I've met to be so arrogant. Yeah, it's pretty obvious at this point that she knows a lot more than she's telling, and it's gonna probably even be worked out if she said it, but... Solemn oath on the outside, but self-centered on the inside. I haven't plenty of men like you. So you have no choice but to get you to comply forcefully then. Try it. It's over, you've lost. This isn't where we settle this. If you would like to leave, surely you would leave us with an explanation? What answers, but you have none to give me. You let her get away. Her injury, she won't get far. Wait, your old bones don't seem to be much use here. My sincerest gratitude, Lin. You're the master of Chizao, yet you need someone to come to your rescue when your mortal enemies come attacking. I do not remember having made such an enemy. A feint. You're injured. Where can you run? You? Watch out, Grandmaster. Clever use of the portraits there. Simple, but makes clear what happened. Grandmaster, what happened here? This is my fault. The sword's been taken. General, the assassin could not be found within 5 miles of the inner city. There are no signs of her receiving assistance from anyone. No one else was ambushed. Neither the inner city nor the armory show signs of being infiltrated. No signs. Or as it confirmed they've not been infiltrated. We cannot say for sure at the moment. Could someone infiltrate human barracks room free, even after facing 4 masters here? Extraordinary. I was too careless. Do you have any clues regarding the identity of our assassin, Lord Way? Over the years, I've come across many who wanted my life, but I'm alive and well nonetheless. All of them have either given up the idea or perished long ago. I am not acquainted with our friend tonight. Surely, any discoveries on your end? It all happened so suddenly. I wasn't prepared. I wasn't able to take the assassin in as a result. I'm not asking why you were able to capture the assassin. I'm asking you what you saw. There's a young female assassin who infiltrated and took the sword. She was hurt and when she made her escape. Aside from that, I don't have anything. Cup shatters, the Lord Exorcist seizing all its fragments in his hand. Even with its distinguished gifts and tenets, at that moment he finds himself unable to quell his anger, just as he wasn't able to control his shaking hand as he drew the bowstring earlier. Now let's come to this. Talking about it will do us no good. Send the order out, seal the gates, and set up checkpoints in each district. Do not allow unnecessary travel between them. In addition, send word to the entire city. At the hour of Shen, 2 days from now, Yuan will slow and adjust course. Have the masses be ready for this. Yes, sir. Jolie, sir. Capture the assassin, locate the Grandmaster's sword, and find in the Shanazong hiding in the city. Do all 3 without failure. You have 3 days. My personal troops are yours to command. Keep the secret and do not disturb the people. Yes, sir. Where's Lin? He left as soon as the soldiers came. Lin has no standing in the court, meaning he has no right to stand in attendance as you give your orders. Is there anything I can assist with? Seeing as the assassin's after your life, your safety should be top priority. Once this commotion calms, I will send a battalion to escort you back to Longman. Ask you to stay indoors the next few days. May I ask what you mean by that? Exactly what I said. Yuan will take care of the rest. Of course. A foe this time is exceptionally skilled. Perhaps I should ask you to stay in the barracks and ensure the Grand Tutor and Lord Way's safety. It is equally dangerous to allow the criminal to roam the city. The affair begins because of the Fairmotes. Considering you are who you are, you should not get yourself involved. After all, the only ones who know your true identity are all here in the room. The general's tone is hardly heavy, and it fills the building with silence. A sigh can be heard from one of its corners. Very well. Do you have any objections to this arrangement, Grand Tutor? I trust your judgment, Lord Exorcist. Very well. Execute these orders at once. Yeah, Nian, Lang, and the siblings, including Cheng Yu, are all technically fragments of a single Fahrenheit, the kind that are getting hunted down. I'm gonna stop here. Obviously, like you said, the people who know the truth are all here. And this isn't being hidden at all. So what is the big... Grandmaster, are you alright? I don't believe there's anyone who could do him harm. It seems you really believe in me. The sound of it you've heard already. Let us set aside the issue of the soldiers outside the city for the time being. The defense of Yuman was part of your responsibilities. Considering this arrangement, which you allowed, it clearly doesn't trust you. Naturally, I understand and empathize with his position, which is why I have a few things I need you to help me with over the next few days. This is highly unusual, and the foe we're up against is especially treacherous. I hope you'll lend Zuli a helping hand. Given how he is, he may not be very receptive to me meddling in his affairs. In that case, it seems now is not the time for us to resolve the matter between us. He does say more, I know the score. With how little I have to do in the next few days, I'm hoping you'll help me finish writing the last few chapters of the Book of Kung Fu as quickly as possible. It is my duty as your student. Thank you. If there's nothing else, Grandmaster, I'll take my leave. Please get some rest soon. Man sighing, perhaps the sight of the empty sword mount on the wall or something else. Oh, he sighs possibly because of the empty sword mount. How many more will you drag into this game? Once a pure stream of water flows to a polluted lake, you can no longer scoop up any clean water from it. Don't you understand that? Even if you try and replace it, you'll never find her in all the chaos. Why torment yourself with all this? The sound of the patrol's clanking armor can be heard from afar, with nothing but deafening silence otherwise. The night is deep. The clamorous night finally calms. He lets out another long sigh. How very brave of you. How could I have failed to realize that you would be here as well? Yes, I'm here too. Are you going to stop me? Skilled Go player making no skillful moves in an entire game. Your actions are too radical. Maybe it's because your time is limited. If that's where you're going, you barely have any time left yourself. You really think we can ignore everything because that man sealed his self away in the sword? Came here for the one. Why would I be concerned with only 1/12? I could ask you, what makes you think you can become him? I won't become him. I am nowhere but myself. He and I, we have a score to settle. The grudge is yours and yours alone. We are not enemies. That is not for you to decide. At the very least, at this point of time, we have both have more important things to accomplish. We won't be a hindrance to each other. Is that a truce you are seeking? It's in both our interests. You have no reason to refuse. You really are nothing like your brothers and sisters. I hope you'll show me something more interesting next time we meet. Interesting. Miss, I heard you... Down. I told you not to seek me out in broad daylight. It's good to see all of you in one place. Any progress on your end? The human markets are open for the first time in years. There's too many wares and people are flowing in and out. We have no leads yet. It's so convenient for us to look into this. We'll have somebody else do it. What do you mean? How many of the merchants in the market are locals, and how many are from Lungmen? How many of the people behind us are missing paperwork at the LGD or even in hoc to us? Sift through them, find someone who would have an easier time than we would. It should not be that hard. Dear Die Susie, this sounds like it could be against the rules. Do as I say. 2 weeks ago, Baronet followers. You needn't know where the intel came from. Out of all the enemies Yan has faced the past 1,000 years, no small number of them lurk in the shadows. Yuan may rely on Lungmen for its supplies, but you shouldn't be responsible for what happens within for security within their borders. Human is an impenetrable shield, but there are pests hiding behind that shield. They need to be exterminated by others. I want to send you there to take care of this. You can operate as a special LG commanding officer. On paper, you'll be in charge of security while the two cities are connected. You'll have a certain level of support from me. I need you to run a thorough investigation into the dangerous elements hiding in the citizenry and ensure it's smooth sailing. Should the need arise, you may resort to most extreme measures. Why me? Because you are Yin Lin Yusha. Because you need to take care of this. I want you to do in Lungmen what the Rat King did in all of Lungmen all those years ago. Chief, discuss this with my father before you came to me, did you? I would have gladly pulled for Rat King. Yusha. Dad, you didn't tell me you were coming. I accepted Wei and Wu's mission. I came to take a look. So you've heard. Investigating smugglers, eh? Trouble you. Look, going through all the trouble to hide this from me, it's Wei and Wu you should be troubling. You never considered turning this down? Somebody has to maintain peace here. Wei and Wu has many a capable character under his wing. Why must you of all people clean up his mess this time? Never mind, I could figure out what kind of excuses Ye is making if I had to think with my tail. You should know that's what happened tonight. Wei has as many capable... Never mind, I could figure out what kind of excuses he's making even if I had to think. That's why the soldiers locked the city gate. So much has happened in the span of a day. If this was really a coincidence, it must have been a hell of a coincidence. The Chief of Lungmen finds himself a target of assassination attempt. The Grandmaster has his sword taken. The Imperial messenger was killed. Each of these would make headlines on its own. They all occurred within hours of each other. It's unimaginable what kind of forces would be behind them. When Ye Wenwu came to, did you explain how dangerous this was going to be? All I knew was this wouldn't be a walk in the park. Human is not Lungmen, and you are not me. I know that well. I will deal with this carefully. The agents I brought with me from Lungmen, all masters in their fields, have followed you for years. Plus, I know the world of Jianghu. I've seen enough. What is you're doing? Then I won't keep rambling. I just hope this will be resolved quickly without delaying your trip to Victoria. It's just a study trip. I don't have to go. You've helped me and the LGD take care of many things the past few years. To the point you haven't been able to do what you truly wanted yourself. All that my own volition. It was all for Lungmen. It's not your own choice if you haven't seen another path. Sometimes I wonder if, perhaps like Chen, you should... Dad, you hurt? Get a doctor. No need. It's been years since I taxed my arms and legs so much. My bones are aching. Looks like taking walks to the park every day isn't quite exercise. I'll take you back to the General's estate. No need for that either. I'll find an inn nearby to stay for the night. Even getting my old friends once is once a plenty. I can't stand the atmosphere in that house tonight. My, what a coincidence. I heard a commotion at the edge of the city early this evening, and I figured something big must happen. Now I find you here, Mr. Lin, and I'm sure something big must happen. Yeah, I don't know how I forgot that Lin is their family name. Her true name is Yusha. Which makes it funny. I guess I must have just been thrown off because her operator name is Lin, because I guess she chose her family name for it instead of her proper name. So what you're saying is an old rat like me might as well be a plague? Of course not, I was only joking. You shall let me have a few words with Mr. Lee in private. Please excuse me. From the look of it, your search in Yumen hasn't been that successful. Don't get me started, the man has been gone for well over a decade. I was never banking on finding him within a month. But it doesn't matter how long it takes, we still have to look for him. You are a carefree man. It's only when it concerns this old friend of yours do you seem to burden yourself so much. Maybe I owe him from a past life. Since aren't in a hurry, may I hire Lee's detective agency for a job? How could I refuse a job for Mr. Lin himself? That gets me thinking, though. Haven't I been taking on you too many troublesome jobs lately? It goes to show what a capable man you are. We'll say I owe you one if you do this for me. Well, with such a generous offer on the table, looks like I really do have to think this over, see if I can manage it. Only a crafty fellow like you can manage this. Sadly, Lee to this day has never come home for me, which is a shame. He's the last one of the detective agency I am missing. 1, 2, 9, 10. All the names above me on the rankings look pretty tough. I calm down, just do your best. Why can't I leave the city? Two of my brothers just died out there. The gate's closed, please leave. Hey, be reasonable, can't you? You? Oh, they met an invitation to wine. Whoa, the Forte Unk with a golden mace got kicked right out of the arena. That feline girl won 5 straight matches in a row. Phew. Hey, now I watch all your matches today. You got amazing kung fu. Want to work for me in my escort association? Escort? Not interested. Don't be so quick to refuse. With their skills, I can give you more than a decent wage. I'm not planning on making a living with my fists. I have a degree in mechanical engineering, I'll have you know. Ooh, does this mean we could get Waifu Alter, who is an artificer or something? Then again, that would mean she has to compete with Stainless. Then again, well, I am quite favorable towards support units in this game, so who knows? Mechanical what? Never mind that. This means something of science, right? Yeah, science. The Escort Association I'm talking about is a new kind of logistics company. Science graduates like you have a bright future with us. Hey, don't just walk away, I'm serious. She probably could have said I already have a job, but whatever. So that just happened. It sounds like you're gonna have to wait until the lockdown's over before you can take your friends' belongings and news of their deaths back to Changshu. I'm the one who brought them here. No matter how, I'll bring them home. Before I came back to Yumen, I ran into Mr. Zheng in Changshu by chance. He told me that when the day comes that no one needs Kong to protect themselves, that's the day we can finally have true peace. That's right about that, but for now, I'm more fond of another saying, an eye for an eye. I'll find the one who did this. I mean, you do realize that an eye for an eye is followed by leaves everyone blind. It's a extremely common saying by tons of people over the years, and it's for a damn good reason. What are you two doing here? Yusha, up an official lady from earlier? I thought you said you'd get the bottom of this. How are you going to get the bottom of anything now that we're in lockdown? Do you know each other? There's been a ton of events. Apparently, things are much trickier than I thought. Let me investigate with you. I can help out too. It's too dangerous. I can't drag outside. What's that sound? Drums from the outer city district? Look, the beacons are lit in the city walls. It's the Wang Fang Festival, one of Yuan's traditions. The ceremony held every year at the beginning of spring. It lasts 3 days. The drums of the barracks are beaten for the citizens' benefit. Each beat tells them the city, the lands, and a great yen are all safe. As the signal fires, they're lit to guide the soldiers who gave their lives in the battlefield home. What a rough time for this to happen, but young me would have probably wondered why they would do something like that rather than, take the security seriously, but nowadays I do know. Bluntly, they don't want to look weak for canceling something the moment anything goes wrong. Indeed, this is mostly for the benefit of the future, so they need to make sure that they just shore up security, continue the festival as normal, and just try and make sure nothing goes wrong. Because otherwise, others could potentially attack them for seeing them as weak or something. I'm not saying it's a good reason, I'm just saying I kind of see where they're coming from. Because I know it's way more complicated than that, but I guess I guess hindsight's always 2020. I get makes it easy to overlook things. That's why I complained and in Grandia all those times. You don't want to negotiate after you've already given your leverage. You need to negotiate before, because otherwise they'll just say, "Oh, turned out it was never actually that bad." Because in hindsight, you can always say, "Oh, nothing was that bad." Catastrophes sweep across the country. Barbarians terrorize the borderlands and bands start trouble. The drums are beaten 17 times, representing the trials and tribulations that befell you in the past year, both big and small. Border cities cross the country's northern regions for centuries, and citizens are hardened by these disasters. The great wind cannot extinguish the flames of the meadow. The men's eyes fix their homes to the night. Here's this caliber posing no threat to us, right? Alright, let me grab a sip of my drink before we continue. I decided to pick up a pack of mini waters at the store this time, see if those are a good length for this sort of thing. If not, I'll just keep getting some larger bottles of water or soda or whatever. This seems easy. Too easy. Yeah, this seems way too easy. Why would enemies even go up to the second floor here when it's just a straight shot to the end? Something's up. Rabbit team, to me. May not be very good with this team, but I can still make it work. Anasa. The world means one without roots in ancient language. My people say that all things are uncertain except life and death. Trying to cling to something only brings trouble. That's why we drifted from one place to another, living in the barren lands. The barren. There's always water and game to be found. At the end of our lives, we return to dust, return to the earth. The catastrophe destroyed our camp. Most of us lost our lives in the migration. A woman from a nomadic city happened to pass by and guide us to safety. She taught us how to fight, shared knowledge, and told us stories of the cities. She said that everyone should have a place to call home. Stay down. Sarcasm language. Who are you? Why am I here? Can't understand a word, not that it matters. Here to heal your wounds. You do exactly as the doc says if you want to see the sun rise. If you don't want to die here, do as I say. Annie's, where am I? Who are you? This is an infirmary and you're a patient. I'm a helper of the infirmary. Where's my sword? The girl reaches around her in a panic, going calming down when she finds a weapon beside her. There, thank goodness. Found you passed out the door of the infirmary, but we didn't let the sword go. Did you get hurt fighting over it? Doesn't concern you. No need to look at me like that. I could have taken it while you were passed out, if I so wanted. I've seen so many people die over so-called masterwork weapons. Do you really think wielding a weapon like that could make you strong enough to beat the enemies that you couldn't? I don't trust weapons. The only thing I trust is my fists. True warrior shouldn't entrust victory to something else. You don't understand. I'm not trying to fight with a sword. I want to repay a debt. Swords, the sword's a weapon for killing. Mentor told me the sword means a lot to her. I promised her I'd bring her the sword, or bring it to her grave at least. I see. Has your mentor passed away? Well, I'm not interested in listening to people talk about their debts and grudges. If you say you fought with the sword to repay a debt, I'll believe it. A woman who's almost died has no need to lie. So that means seeing your obligations is more important than her life, and that's not a bad thing. Why did you help me? What's an infirmary for, if not to help people? I don't have any money. I know money's required for exchange for kindness here. That's not wrong, but you can also work off your debt. Why do you think I'm working here for the doc? Difference is I'm working to pay off medical bills of the people I beat up. I do the heavy lifting in the clinic, so you should learn to do things like drying herbs and wrapping wounds. You don't know as much as I do. A few months would be enough to pay off debt. No, repay your kindness, but I'm in a hurry. I have to get out of the city. Not going anywhere. As I said, stay down. You need to get your injuries healed. Manage to survive them. Be ashamed if you died now, not to mention embarrassment at the clinic. Kindness is important too. I'll think about it once you're healed up and repay your debt. Another patient? I'll take a look. Stay down. She's a sarcasm, not a pero. What is it? Are you the doctor, sir? Doc's out. I'm the helper here. I can help you if you just want meds, but you'll have to wait your turn if you want the doctor to look at you. I apologize for the interruption. We're investigating a case of pursuing a suspect. Here is my token. I would appreciate your cooperation in answering a few questions. Ask what you want, I'll decide if I want to answer. Has a clinic treater seen anyone suffering a serious stab wound? Nope and nope. Either buying or find someone else to bother. I'd like to take a quick look. It'll only take a minute. No, patients and customers only. I have nothing but the greatest respect for the clinic's work. I'd rather not have to force my way in. This concerns the safety of all human. Your cooperation would be appreciated. Now, you got your rules and I got mine. You don't come in unless I say so. And I apologize. His movements are swift as a foul beast, but he feels a hand on his collar as he's about to cross the clinic's threshold, throwing him backwards. The burly man continues to stand there as though he never moved. It's as though the foul beast flew into an invisible and boundless net. This man's an ordinary brute. I can get why he's deciding to keep the patients of the hospital secret, but him just barging in there. I said you ain't coming in. You got a death wish, kid. You understand the consequences of obscuring justice. Don't understand, don't care. Try that again, I dare you. Enough, this is not a game. Huh? Someone else in there? Yeah, there's patients in here, dickweed, I just told you. Hey, where'd the girl go? What the? Bandages and cotton balls are scattered, and the bed's still warm. The air smells of blood and herbal medicine. You didn't know heavily wounded patients were taken in here recently. How to explain the gauze and blood? Hey, I told her to stay put. Just need to get out of the city. Must be at the gates. Oh no, I gotta catch her. The doc's gonna put her bill on my tab. Hey, stop right there. Hey, he only said that it's a major stab wounds. For all he knows, this could be a different kind of injury. Tea leaves, Shangshi rock tea, cool flower tea. Anything you want, I got it here. 2 carts of lemon green tea. Excuse me, miss, we don't sell tea by the cart. Oh, miss. We meet again. Any updates since I last asked you to look on? We agreed on terms. I know what you mean. How many caravans this batch are carrying false permits? How do they get these permits? I need to know more. I'll pay the tax I owe, the whole amount. Please don't ask any more. Talk about your precious offenses another day. Answer my question. Help. Thief. Got nerves stealing broad daylight. Grab her. Test my patience. Watch out, I saw that accomplice get away. Interesting. She straight up says he doesn't care about his offenses. She doesn't care about his offenses, but he refused to give anything up. The only reason he would do that is if he specifically cared about the person he was protecting, or he felt the person he was protecting required was more important than his own somehow. Which could be for coercion, of course. He could be in their debt, or he could be have his life threatened, or possibly even just his shop. Excuse me, the owner's out. You need something made? I just have a couple questions. This is Smithy. The inn's where you go for gossip. Here are some old Jiangsu Kung Fu stories that only circulate here. Fine, I guess it can't hurt to have someone to chat with while I work. Fire away. I really ought to buy something for your trouble. What do you want? Frying pan, kitchen knife? How about a sword? Sorry, I can't do that. Household items only. Oh, but the sign says Sword Forge. This is probably the last place in Human that still uses that particular wording. It's just a name. The whole owner could change to the tea parlor or guest house if he wanted. Ah, fair enough. Not from around here, are you, tourist? I've wanted to see the deserts of Human for a long time. We get a bunch of tourists every time we link up with Human thanks to the wuxia TV shows. Anyone without a brain should know that's all fake. What's so good about that backwater place? You want a souvenir sword? Trust me, you're better off getting a pack or two of Human jerky. Every place has its own unique scenery. It's always worth a look. Setting aside whether TV shows are fake or not, I'm sure there's a story behind this smithy. Sure of that, are you? I don't mean to offend, but every shop I passed by on the market was full of people. Except for this one. Why would a shop with no history of business be on a busy street like this? And I doubt a shop really has no business, but have so many furnaces burning and so many iron ingots lying around. Ingots or ingots? I've seen it pronounced both ways. This is why I hate talking to smart people. It makes my head hurt. I'll take that as a compliment. Alright, what do you want to know? Ask you about the stories of the world of Kung Fu, but you piqued my interest in something else. How did the Sword Forge become a smithy? Man running for his life can always find an extra burst of speed. Just as he's about to shake his pursuer, a rope out of nowhere trips him over. He tries to pull himself up, only to find nothing but quicksand around him. Had enough yet? Right, she's a sandbender, so... More specifically, she uses glass, since she's not nearly as good at sand manipulation as her father, the Rat King. So she has to solidify it to glass to properly control it, if I remember right. I guess the best comparison would be kind of like how Toph had an easier time with rock and stone, forms of rock and stone compared to sand for most of Avatar: The Last Airbender. It was only until much later on she finally managed to properly manipulate sand. Good, now we can talk. What are you afraid of? This group is different, I know. I'll have my head if I talk. I have a family. They count on me to feed them, please. Glad you remember you have a family. Let me remind you, they're all in Lungmen. Excellent. I know you and the Rat King operate. You wouldn't. That's up to you. What do I really need to prove to you what I'm capable of? Tell me what you know. The smugglers make the round when Lungmen and Human link up is pretty consistent. Same groups, work with the same forgers, same suppliers, same fences. This time around, though, there's a new group nobody knows anything about, not even the oldest crooks. Some try to pick a fight, and nobody ever saw them again. Those new smugglers disappeared? No, the ones who picked the fight. What else do you know? Out with it. I've heard, well, rumors they hide and sell where they hide and sell their stuff. So you took care of things at the market. Nothing a few coins couldn't fix? Good. And this man? The barracks and back to LGD when we're done here. I told you everything I know. Why? Quit complaining. It's for your own safety. Right. They can't go after him if he's arrested. He just disappeared. The markets of Yume are not usually so busy. The streets are packed with people. Parents hold those children's hands a little tighter. It's not easy trying to find someone in this crowd. Hey, are you buying or not? Get out of my way if you're not buying. You're in everyone's way. Sorry. Noise, people shouting, arguing, and bartering drowns out the deadlier sounds. What the? That was the sword comes behind without a sound. He takes a step forward almost by instinct. The point of the sword tears through his clothes, inches from leaving behind a wound that would have crippled him for life. Who's there? Sheesh, someone tried to shank him. I stab him there. Julie turns around, but sees only a bustling market. Did he intentionally draw me here? A commotion here would... Where are you? I'm tempted to joke that he's playing a game of Among Us, but... The market sure is busy today, isn't it? Mr. Lee? Looks like we have some troublemakers in the crowd. Do be careful. I noticed, did you... Just a little optical trick. It won't last long. It's dangerous here. We should leave. No choice, I suppose. Turns out we're the ones who fell into a trap. Let's get out of here. We don't want civilians getting hurt.
Look at the map and figure out your route before you get in there. This is experience talking.
Should be pretty easy.
On alert!
Should be good.
Review.
Oh my, these guys can actually teleport in. That raises quite a
Why
few
don't
questions.
everyone try
That actually is rather
something
interesting
wrong?
then. That explains it. You guys place here doing. This should be sufficient, I think. Alright, so this stage introduces enemies with the ability to simply teleport in out of nowhere. That explains why there's so many of these here. That might complicate things a bit, because that means someone's gonna come in the lower right, and that means, Leonhardt's gonna have to be prepared for it. On that note, Leonhardt, wouldn't mind an alt for him. He's already probably the least bad splash caster around, at least among the ones I've got. There's a limited amount, to be fair.
Mission accomplished.
There we go. Oh, look, a fight! Happens all the time. Haggling turning into a fight. Nothing to see here. Stay close. I don't know how I'd find you if you got lost in there. They wouldn't go up so easily. Protecting ourselves is one thing, but it'd be hard to avoid harming civilians. I have an idea. There's a way out, but you'll have to get a mess in your hands. Wait. Damn, too late. The dart through the... Shanazong dart through the crowds like fins through water. The fins leap from the water en masse. Julie and Lee cannot hope to fend off their attacks without harming civilians. Darn, Lee shouldn't have had his skill 3 equipped. That's got a huge AoE. Snow falls. Not scattered like flakes of snow, but a steady stream of white. Blizzard cuts off the rapid flow, stopping the Shanizong in their tracks. Such a response is more than just talent and training. It's a result of the experience accumulated from countless deadly battles. Leave! Chase, there are too many people here. These villains have no qualms about harming innocents. Okay, panting. Bye-bye, it's been a while. It's been a while, but you don't seem to have gotten any better. Why have you come? The Grandmaster instructed me to help you. And who is this gentleman? A friend I met on a previous mission, an old acquaintance of Lang's. Someone without an official position shouldn't involve with us, even a friend of Lang's. Ah, well, I just happened to pass by. Anyway, someone always tells me not to meddle whenever I'm hired to do something. Guess it's a private eye trope. My life would have been in danger if not for your help, but are you really here by chance? Would the sweet regulator believe me if I said yes? No jokes, please, this is important. I never look for trouble. Trouble just has a tendency to find me. I'll leave it that my client is an acquaintance of old Chief Wei of Lungmen. You may have already met him in the barracks last night. I guess the ones who attacked you now were the people he hired me to find. What else do you know about what happened in Lang last night? Not much. The ones who hire private eyes aren't exactly the private type. Aren't exactly the talkative type. You get used to it. Maybe I could help if you told me more. I stabbed the assassin in a scuffle last night, so I started my search in the clinics. I searched every single clinic and didn't find anything useful until the last one. A man called himself a helper that would not let me in. I forced my way in and found gauze and blood. A man ran off with an agitated look on his face. Someone has the nerve to obstruct the sweet regulator and lumen. I wasn't sure what to make of it. Obstruction of justice is a crime, but I couldn't make heads or tails of what the man was talking about. It didn't feel premeditated. Could you describe the man in more detail? Let me think. He's literally an effing tiger. Feline male, looks to be in his 40s, exceptionally skilled in kung fu. Could it really be him? There's only so many full-fledged furries in this universe after all. We should hurry. Yusha wants to visit the deceased bodyguard's family. I'm coming. This is the last house anyway. Say, I haven't had a chance to ask you, why'd you come to Human? I told you to set up my own logistics company. Mr. Zheng told me his daughter came to Human too, but I didn't see you. That's how fate works, I guess. Say, since we're on this case, it would be natural for you to join the logistics afterward. Still talking about this? Anyway, it seems like you dragged a lot of people she knows into this. The Rat King's daughter. You know Mr. Lin too? Not really. Heard of him on his travels. I thought you'd know each other well, being fellow Lungmanites. Lungman isn't exactly knows everybody. See, I see Mr. Lin from time to time at my work, but I've only heard rumors about Yusha. Curious, what do Lungmanites think of the Rat King? The word Lungmanite is way too broad. Some think of him as a benevolent protector, some want little to do with him as possible, others just see him as a kindly old man. The one thing is for certain, though, he's the key to Lungman's peace and security. Sounds like someone not to be trifled with. Must be hard being Miss Lin. Why do you say that? Fathers always want their children to walk the path they pave for them. Especially accomplished fathers. You not get along with Mr. Zhang? I wouldn't say that. It's more like I prefer some distance between us. Some fathers don't care about their children at all. They do as they're pleased, leaving their children for someone else to care for. Disappear a decade without a word. Do you mean? Yeah, that was a bit specific. Why? No one's falling for that. Never mind. I don't want to bring him up now. The old man went missing for a decade. I'd take over the association and rebuild it in my own image. I'd show him that I can do better. What if he never comes back to see how you've done? Well, this is the place. Hello, anybody home? Excuse me, where... Hey, the door's unlocked. Nobody's here in the clinic. Ah, this is the fourth place. The guard who died was the son of the doctor here. The doctor's a local, has been running the clinic for decades. No other members in the household. News of the messenger's death reached the city yesterday afternoon. The doctor should already know. But the room's neat and tidy, not a speck of dust. The two bags in the corner look like items for today's market. I don't know humans' customs, but it's as though nothing happened whatsoever. Why did father react to news this child's dead? A flashback to invitation to wine. Certainly wouldn't act like nothing happened, at the very least. There's no one home. It's not right for us to barge in. Let us rendezvous with Yusha. It's good to make note of this, at the very least. The warehouses that smugglers talked about is just ahead. Strange. You know this place? I checked out the various depots in the city. Yeah, when I visited last time, this warehouse was used by the Southside Sword Forge for storing metals and originium fuel. The forge is a reputable business operation. It shouldn't have anything to do with this. Yeah, Moga. He played us for fools. Take it easy. We're in no rush. He doesn't have the nerve to lie in a situation like that. We're already here. All we need to do is take a look. You keep watch. I'll check it out. We'll be careful. Lost your way, miss? Isn't this a stonemason's warehouse? I'm here to buy stone. Your boss couldn't sculpt his way out of a shoebox, but his stone is not half bad, so I thought I'd buy a bunch. Give me permission to come to the warehouse. Did you show me around? Zhong stonemason. Think so. The chopper thing you stand on the market? That's on the west side. This is the south side. You can stop right there. Look around. You nothing but iron scrap, not a rock to be found. I'm sure you're lost. Damn, I have a guy to get me there with that fraud. Sorry for the intrusion. It's fine, let me see you out. I imagine she got what she needed just from that look. She successfully rolled her, bluff. The clouds part to let the bright shine sun through, stinging Linusha's skin slightly. She subconsciously reached behind her neck, then looks up at the man. What kind of attire would leave a sunburn on the neck like that? What are you looking at? Nothing. Goodbye. How'd it go? Stay here and keep a close eye for nearby movement. Something doesn't seem right. Don't ask questions, keep your eyes peeled, or report anything unusual. Roger that. Roger, roger.
How long do we fight? How long until the flames of anger on this land die down?
two directions they can come, but it looks like most of them I don't have to worry about. I do need to be careful. The middle one, range ones would be a great way for a decent amount of spread, but it's also the one most vulnerable, especially now that we know enemies are allowed to simply teleport in as they damn well please. And since I'm going to specifically use rabbits, where would a Lord Guard be useful here? I guess facing downward would be the obvious option, but this does mean I need to make sure someone else covers his side. That's a lot of unplaceable tiles, that's for sure. Let us out! We've been through this. The generals declared a high alert to ensure human safety. No one's allowed to leave the city without permission. Please turn back. Yeah, speak of human safety, me. We were guarding long before you picked up a strict kiddo. Sounds like these, I need to think about the greater good. The greater good? Do you remember when a group of bandits infiltrated the city and inserted innocent people in the process? It happened so suddenly. The situation is so messy, they refused to lift a finger. We had to take things on our own hands. We chased the hundreds of and split 3 days, spent 3 whole days in the desert. We had to carry half our brothers back to the city, but we managed to drag the bandits with us. Now our brothers lie dead out there, their bodies rotting, and you're asking us to simply wait? Master Jing, we all know your story. We have infinite respect for you, but General Zhou has decreed we are hunting a serious criminal. No one can leave without permission. His awe-inspiring authority has me quaking. Tell him to come here and face us. Impudence. Master Ming, why aren't you shouting from across the city? These men are only following orders. Why do you have to be hard on them? We can't let them talk to us like this. You're a venerable elder of the city who fought many battles to defend human, even messengers of the catastrophes. Our stability is thanks to your hard work. Even though Lord Exorcist and Grandmaster are still present, you flaunt your seniority as if it all matters. No heart. Good men need not remind the people of their past deeds. If you boast about it, that just goes to show how little it truly mattered. Woman, make no further trouble. I'm sure your fallen brothers are spoken for. Ah, yes, master. Blame lies with me. I neglected their discipline. We would never blame you. Those four brothers, you have my condolences. I'll take care of their families. There's no need to bother the Lord Exorcist. But since they died delivering a letter for human, I'd like to ask the Lord Exorcist for his opinion on the situation. We have to focus on the assassin. When we're done, Lord Exorcist will dispatch troops to clear out the bandits. Right, I have to prioritize. That makes sense. I just want a word with it. I need a reply, any kind of reply to answer these brothers. Once we're done with this, you're all welcome to Sword Forge drinks. Yusha, how is the situation you're in? Have the families of the victims been located? Actually, two of the four were living alone. As for the other two, their families happened to be away from home, so we took it upon ourselves to barge in. It's a bit strange that all the homes look so normal on the outside. Could it be coincidence they all happen to be out? A whole day has passed since we got news of their deaths. Were they somehow aware of what happened? Who goes there? It scared the life out of me. I just felt like someone's watching us. You could sense that even this crowd? Let's continue in the inn then. Yusha, stay your steps. You know this man? Just give me a moment. I'll have a few words with him. Alright. I didn't expect the monitor sensor of Department of Discipline and Supervision to remember me. I think it's been 5 years since we last met. The timing of our meeting was a memorable one. And not very pleasant. Just official business, you and I both. You are also here to investigate the events that transpired in Lumen, Envoy Lin. Can the monitor sensor offer any leads? No, at this time I'm not intervening in any official capacity. I'm merely acting as a foreigner subordinate to the Lord Exorcist and as a subject of Yan to apprehend the villains who disturb the people's peace. I must say I'm a little surprised you aren't advising me to stay out of it. At Monitor Sensor Taihe. I have no reason to dissuade you from your duties, Envoy Lin. Do forgive me for prying. You've only just arrived in the city, so how exactly do you plan to investigate a case when you're unfamiliar with the situation? I have my own means, of course. Don't you worry, Monitor Sensor Taihe. I have no doubt your means will prove more than adequate, Envoy Lin. Might as well make your words clearer, Tai. As I said, we're on official business, nothing more than that. I merely offer a reminder. The enemy lies in the open while we're hidden, but we do be careful still. I will take my leave. He just can't be anything less than as cryptic as humanly possible, can he? I've seen that big guy before. I think he's from the Department of Discipline and Supervision. Just how many mandarins? Not like we're friends. We're just prior dealings. What's the difference? The difference is you don't want to be friends with people you have dealings with. Let's go. Yeah, sometimes you don't want anything beyond a business relationship with certain people. Dusk. The sun goes down quickly in early spring, and the weather's still a little cold. The old man fills the furnace with a handful of firewood. The weak fire is not fit for foraging, or even for heating for that matter. These days, all the forge equipment runs on originium, but the old man stubbornly keeps a useless furnace here. While waiting for the fire to intensify, he picks up a broom and sweeps up the sand that's accumulated in the courtyard overnight, leaving none of the crevices between the stone bricks untouched. Of course, the old man knows it'll only stay clean for a moment and return to its sandy state, but he still toils to sweep the ground, hoping to catch a glimpse of a clean forge. These legs of mine still ache from the cold, even when the weather's getting warmer. So closing time. If it isn't urgent, why not come back tomorrow? Oh, you're looking for someplace else, girl? This is a forge, not a clinic. Looking for a place mentioned in a story. You're hurt too bad to be running around the city like this. Hate to say it, but the city's under high alert right now, and a girl with a knife wound has shown up on my doorstep. It'd be trouble for me if I don't take her to the authorities. Last thing I want is more trouble. Better let her explain where she came from. You are the one called Meng Tai. It means something that you know that name, young as you are. But I don't recognize you at all. Shifu told me that there's a forge here in the Namak City, and the owner is a skilled swordsmith. He can make all kinds of weapons, armor, and craft toys for children in the city. I can't recall anyone who would talk about this old man like that. In the yard of the forge lies a pagoda tree, transplanted by both of you from a faraway place. The old man can't but look back. In the corner of the yard was a pagoda tree, leaves swaying against the evening wind. Spring comes late in the north, and new leaves have yet to grow on the branches. Now we can, now we can say the battle is truly over. We suffered a number of casualties, but for the next 20 years at least, the bandits will be code. Oh, his name is Shuo. I've heard tales long ago of expeditions celebrating triumphs by carving out their achievements in the furthest mountains they could see. Perhaps today, we are worthy of that legacy. Haha, not a bad idea, but we only have sand, nothing solid on which to write. Well, there's a lone tree here, so why not? Alright, let's go with that. Good, this withered tree's about to crumble into dust. You want to torment it? So we have an alternative then? What's the point of engraving your exploits on a fixed point when you live in Nomak City that travels thousands of it? Why don't we take this tree back and replant it in human? Our story will be remembered by the tree if it manages to take root in the city, even if it's just for a day. Perhaps once. Oh, very well. Not a bad idea at all. Did you get heat stroke from being out here too long? Or at least 100 league from human? Are you planning to carry the tree all the way back there? Why not? We carried so much food and water, and now it's all gone. What's wrong with bringing an extra tree on our way back? General Zhou Tai, please lend me a hand. Careful not to damage the roots. Called her Shifu. Shifu saved mine and my family's lives in the wilderness and taught us how to live among the settled. What's her name? Jiyun. If I'm not mistaken, you're an Anasa, yet you have such a refined name. Shifu gave it to me. I see now. I was wondering how she... No wonder. Classic poem. The clouds that float for 1,000 li until it finally settles upon mountaintop. She wished for you to find home, like the cloud. Shifu recited it better than you, but the meaning is the same. Ah, that I have no doubt. Come think of it, she gave the Grandmaster his name as well. That fickle-minded, heartless man. Hey, what's this then? Hold on, that sword. You stole the Grandmaster's sword? I'll bring it to Shifu's grave as an offering. The wind whips up the leaves, rustling the old pagoda tree. The fire in the furnace has died down. The sky has grown dark, but the old man does not move. The girl can't see his expression clearly. So she's dead. Yes, Shifu's illness was very serious. Her last wish is to look upon the sword one last time, so I must deliver it to her. You want it as well? Certainly not. Human's a very dangerous place to be right now. I know that with a sword on me, all soldiers will be hunting for me. No, what I'm saying is it'll become even more dangerous in the near future. It's about to face a test. Before that, I should at least try to get you out. Your Shifu is waiting for you, on all of us. How do you get out of the city? I didn't think about when I came in. They sealed the gates, so I tried to force my way through and was injured in the process. The wind picks up. A handful of fine sand flies in the old man's face in the gap of time that's gone by. It's soft, moist in the twilight hours of early spring. The old man kneads the sand with his fingers. I have an idea. Hey, welcome back. What's the word? No doctor or staff in the clinic, just some princely looking official asked me what I was doing. And what did you tell him? Well, he told me last night I heard over with a family member in tow who suffered a concussion when our store shelves collapsed. Forgot to bring money for the bill, so I came back to make a payment. The nobleman left after asking me the question. I don't get it. Is money back since I never had to pay anyone? Oh, just keep it as reimbursement for your hard work. Strange. Is human's tour season that lucrative? So we gave him a cover story. I've heard of Mr. Lee's skill, but to even pull one over on a young one like that. That's just any kid. That's just any kid. He's a sweet regular candle holder. I wouldn't dare lie to him. Just helping him rule out a wrong answer. Oh yeah, the kid he's pulling one over is the irregular. Okay, yeah. Just helping him rule out a wrong answer. As for Mr. Lin, what are you doing here? Just out for a stroll. If we were in Lungman Park right now, I'd believe it. And how are things going along for you, Mr. Lee? Still strange. I haven't been able to figure out exactly what the job is you've asked me to do. One I've been looking for might clue me in. That's good to hear. You tasked me with a job, you look uneasy. Why not take matters into your own hands? Any action I take would affect Yen Wu's reputation. I also want to just watch the sidelines, see how she does things. Now that's the Mr. Lin I know. That's an important moment, but there's still ample time to make a probing move. A beard well lathered is already half shaved. I trust in you as well, Mr. Lee. Wei Yin Wu has often lamented your decision to not stay in the LGD. Ah. Oh, let's not talk about that. Wei Yin Wu doesn't let go of somebody if he's decided they're useful to him. Speaking of which, are you still determined to have your girl Yusha take over your work? Well, that's not for me to decide. If she wants to stay, Lungman will have a place for her. If she wants to leave, Lungman will not trouble her. I would like you to take care of her no matter what path she takes, Mr. Lee. It's an honor to have your trust, Mr. Lin. If there's anything I can do to help you out, I'll give it my all. Who's it? Now then, time to stop bothering you and continue my stroll. Oh, Tenpei, he's a father too. Sigh. Seems to be a bit of a father theme here, isn't there? You see the citywide notice issued by the patrol on your way here. According to the Imperial last calculations, Yuma needs to adjust course to avoid a catastrophe. Starting tomorrow, in the hour of Shen, the city will begin to slow down. By the hour of Yu, it will have dropped to its lowest speed and pick up once again once the course is corrected. Your chance lies within that time frame. The city slows down, won't the gate be even more closely guarded? Dear girl, just take a good look around you before entering Human. A desert spanning thousands of li, only a misfortune, occasional traveler to meet, but part of Yenni's territory still. From the very beginning, it was designed as a military fortress to guard the north, which is why the city has sand sluices in the outer wall, unlike conventional nomadic cities. It's said that Tumu Tangshi took inspiration from the water wheels in Yangyan waterways and fitted it into the border of this city. The base of the city sinks in the sand, but the huge dams powered by arts are always running to disperse the sand and remove all forms of resistance. Thanks to these, the city is now able to move flexibly across the vast city and adapt to any desert and adapt to any situation. Like a river current, it moves with the tide, a spectacular sight to behold. Normally, the sand would never serve as a path for people to walk on. If one jumps in, he can only expect to be crushed by the turbines or suffocate under the rolling sand. So tomorrow, the hour of view, when human is traveling at its lowest speed, the flow of sand will also be slowed. There's also a ghost of a chance in this idea. Do it. I need to get out of the city by means. What about your wounds? I'll manage. Went to a clinic earlier. Good. It's just that security on the sand sluice is usually lax. I'm not sure if things have changed now the city's under high alert. On my way there, I heard the general of the city is personally leading the defense of the keep. It seems to meet or not to meet, that's the question, but it seems the answer is to meet. You're going out? We have to be quick. I need to scout the surroundings. There's also some preparation to be made if you intend to lead the city through the sand sluices. I'll hang a close sign on the door, so make use of this time to recuperate. I'll come back to fetch you. Bye, Sweezy. Yusha. Head up to my room first. I'll be there in a minute. Any news? Not long after you left, some people in the smith's clothes showed up, moved the goods, and headed somewhere else. I tried to follow them, but they seemed to be in our line of work. They realized someone was tailing them and quickly shook me off. I returned to the warehouse for another look and we cleared out completely. I don't know what those people are hiding, but it's clear something strange is going on. Your intuition's spot on. There's something off about that sword forge. afraid we've already sent the enemy on high alert, and we've already yet to find our key evidence. Dark clouds over the city get thicker every day, and the sand in the wind is getting denser. The situation's urgent. So we have our suspects. We can try some things out. Die, Sweezy. Go to the barracks and fetch something for me. Oh, I've forgotten we hadn't done the map yet, huh?
We're heading out. Remember, mind your cover.
Those may be cat-looking animals, but they seem to be the same class as the dog animals. That is, the early rushdown type. A little dangerous since, crap. Cruise Alter should be able to do a good amount here, I think. Let's see here. It deploys a machine on the first deployable.
Ready to heal.
Can she attack that thing? Yes, she can.
There you are.
Base cruise is pretty good. Pretty reliable.
Here I am.
I have the feeling I'm going to want to block this off. And you know what? Let's put her over here.
Awaiting your order. Medication is here.
April, take care of these guys, please, and thank you.
There you are. Mission accomplished.
Easy. I probably should have left April out a little longer, but it doesn't matter too much, I guess. Deed is still not done. There's some serious kung fu on both sides, so we had no chance to strike. Leave that young candle holder to his own devices, he won't affect our plans. But the woman from Lomwing was never accounted for, and she's still after us. What a pain. Keep an eye on things to make a move when the time is right. No, after these two clashes, the Mandarins will definitely be on alert, so we have to be more calm. Definitely have to be more cautious. I can't let the woman live for another 2 days. I can let the woman live for another 2 days, but our organization can leave no clues. Right, what do we do now? Just wait, it won't be long before he gives us fresh orders. The mounts to seize, and all in between will be our masters. They've stolen land without even knowing it, and their people will pay for their arrogance. Soon. And who might you be waiting for? Attempted assassination of court official and disturbing the people's peace? Your conduct befouls the laws of Great Yan. It's like they mean nothing to you. You have two options. Lay down your arms and come with me, or I bring you in. You're followed. It's the same man from before. Turn the tables on you. Considering his skill, it's no surprise you can do anything about it, but in the end, it's still you who led this man here. Do you understand? Yes. Good. Now we'll get rid of him first, decide to deal with you. You dare? Late as it is, you're still awake? We must be vigilant, lest something in yesterday's incident happen again. Surely the Grandmaster has not invited me out so late just to enjoy the scenery. It's auspicious for Lord Wei to stand here or with us at such a crucial moment. Indeed, it would have been best to take a stroll through the city of Human and enjoy its scenery. The Lord Exorcist's decision naturally comes after careful consideration. Perhaps this is not for me to say, but his responsibility reach far beyond the safety and security of Human. The consequences of one mishap are grave enough that the word trust no longer carries such weight. Indeed, it is so. General Zhao and I have worked together for decades without relying on trust. Hope you understand. Have I ever expressed any dissatisfaction? Speaking of which, we've yet to properly catch up on each other's affairs. Last time I came to Human was 5 years ago, and the time before that was 10. But both were hectic visits. At our last meeting, I think, we were in the capital. Yes, the year you left the capital, and I happened to be there with to report on my work. I didn't expect you to remember something so long ago. Do you not remember it, Lord Wei? I don't not recall what year it was exactly, but my memories tell me it was also spring then, around spring then, late spring, a little later than the current season. Yeah, that's it. At the time you still wielded a sword, and you were not yet called Wei. There's so much scenery to enjoy, and plenty of kung fu spectacles, too. I've lived for so long, and there are not many who would leave true impression. I remember the art book, Ayan Wu here actually has a grenade launcher of some sort. Although, since he's also a swordsman, he probably knows how to use a Chen sword before it was passed down to her. But even now, as I evaluate the various styles of kung fu, I can still think about Chi Zhao's ultimate move. I'm honored to win such praise from the Grandmaster of Kung Fu. That night seemed like it was set to rain, the weather stifling, the clouds looming low. I was on the keep far away, but even then I saw the light in the direction of the post house. The sky abruptly broke with the chill of the sword, a sharp and decisive style of swordsmanship. A sword of Status rent, once stood here fast. Afterwards, Lord Wei must have left the city, and in the end, the rain did not fall. It is a very long time ago, but I wonder why you bring this up. The tower stands high, the two men's clothes rustle in the breeze, even though it is a windless night. As far as the eyes can see, human sentries and buildings stretch on out without end. Only through the wind on the highest points can one clearly perceive the cities moving at high speed. There's treachery in the court, and the minds can be unpredictable. Surely, no one understands it better than you. But I also believe those whose minds consumed by ambition and cunning could never wield that style of swordsmanship. Doesn't matter which I would like to help with. I dare not refuse a request from the Grandmaster himself. I would ask you trust Human just as once. You and the Lord Exodus are alike, shouldering a piece of yan. There are many matters of concern, but in the end, Human is unlike Lungman. It is built on the strength of arms, most of the people practice Kung Fu. These people have great passion, but lack strategic thinking. Regardless, everyone here acts for the country and its people, and there's nothing wrong with hating evil as the enemy. I only fear that simple-minded people will be manipulated without their knowing. General Zhou has agreed to a time of 3 days. Within these 3 days, you'll get your answer. Until then, I hope you set aside your grievances aside and stay your hand. The guest must comply with his host, and Lord Exodus has asked me to wait in these barracks at ease. I simply wish to share his burden, but there really is nothing I can do. As I recall, the envoy Lin of Lungman from a few days past indeed shrewd and capable, solving several cases cleanly in a few days' work. I imagine there must be several talents like her in your employ. Might be overthinking the situation. Whether the Grand Tutor, Exodus, or Wei and Wu, every move is calculated for the safety of the people and prosperity of the country. There should be no conflict between us. Looking back over a few millennia, there have been those who shared a goal, but a number of them inevitably break and turn against each other, yes? Indeed, you're most qualified to speak of this. Very well, for your sake I'll agree to your request. You have my thanks, Lord Wei. The night is no longer young. I suggest you retire. Oh, but there's another thing I think I've yet to mention. Cloud-splitting sword is not actually Qi Zhao's ultimate move. Repressed gasping. Now, you still hold the option to surrender. Choose that option, or else you shall never stand again. Anguished groaning. Right now, it is merely your waist. Move again, and the dirt will bury you up to your shoulders. 3 more of you lie in hiding in the alley of the west, and 2 more eaves on the right. Your actions would draw out my weakness and create an opportunity for an ambush. But you will not get such a chance. I admit I've underestimated your strength. It's rare for one to be so proficient in both Kung Fu and originium arts. You're unworthy to comment on my Kung Fu. Yesterday, Envoy Lin of the LGD fended off an attack while returning to the city and was followed today with Iran intent. Earlier, Sui Regulator Candleholder met with an assassin in the city center. These actions was probably all you're doing, is that correct? To intercept and kill a catastrophe messenger, to steal data. Just what are the Shanizong planning, Inhuman? Who exactly is behind you? Better check who's behind you first. What? What? Thank you so much for saving my life. Sorry for all that. You should not be wasting your time here. The Lungmanite woman investigated the warehouse. She's making a lot of trouble. If you're so worried about trouble, why not go directly to the only variable that can sway the whole situation? The old man at the sword forge. Find him and let the catastrophe data disappear along with his body. Understood. Master, look out. Shouldn't be able to stand. Rest. Go. The ground suddenly sinks beneath them as if charged with vitality. The raised earth and rocks surround everyone in an instant. Master, this man is not to be underestimated. cold light flashes for just a moment. Man falls to the ground, earth and rock unmoving. The block is dead silent. Waste of time and boring beyond comprehension. Yusha, what took you so long? I happened to meet an acquaintance, so I took the chance to say hello. Here at Lungmanite, you seem to know plenty of people in human. Well, that's enough talking. Let's piece together the information we gathered and see if we can figure anything out. I didn't go to finish that conversation on the street. What progress have you made on your end? Miss Du, what kind of person owns a sword forge? You mean Uncle Mang? Yes. He's an old friend of my father's, for whom he was still in the business. His kung fu's renowned, but he's good at talking, too, and every martial artist in Human trusts him. I'm not familiar with Human, so logistics being able to operate here is thanks to him. Does this stuff have anything to do with Uncle Ming? Just wondering. If you have something to say, get to the point already. I had a suspicion this band of thieves causing chaos in the city stowed away the supplies smuggled from Lungmen. I've been on smugglers' trails that led me to Sword Forge's warehouse. So what'd you find? Warehouse only has iron billets and forge fuel, all the materials you need for a forge. What's strange was the warehouse guard. He had an unusual sunburn on his neck, located like a mark from wearing protective equipment. From what I understand it, the survey team dispatched by the Imperial trekked through the desert for long periods of time. They wear a standardized mask of protection against the wind and sun. That sunburn was not faded, and the Imperial Astronomical Bureau only dispatched that one team lately. So they're saying there's something suspicious about the team, and they're connected to Uncle Meng in some way. I'm trying to get us on the same page with the facts I've found. Humans just returned to the depths of the desert, where sunlight can be intense, sunburns are common. Interesting. We're starting to get the sense that that team might not have been ambushed and killed like they thought, but rather they faked their deaths. Somehow. That would also explain why the family just acts normal. Well, because they're well aware or that their children are not dead. Sunlight can be intense. Sunburns are common among city residents. Is that the one little thing you got to make suspicions? Humans return from the depths of the desert where sunlight can be intense. Sunburns are common. Is that one little thing? You recognize this object? Voice shaking. Well, where'd you find this? The warehouse. I found it lying in a corner. It seemed unique, standing out from the piles of iron billets and fuel. This is a Zhangyo Logistics armband I designed myself. The red armband inlaid with gold trim, as well as Shangju-style embroidery, symbolizing auspicious smooth trade routes. It signifies the luck and peace are dyed a disturbing red, and the stains of yellow sand make it look modern and old. One of the kids who followed me would have this. The quiz also but befell the messenger. This shouldn't have made it to the city at all. If what befell the messenger team happened outside, this shouldn't have made it to the city at all. Are the keys still alive? If they are, then why are they hiding? No, who's holding them and keeping them from showing themselves? Oh no, is this like the Crystal Braves from Final Fantasy XIV? Does this mean it's the entire team's been turned against her because she was too naive to realize what was going on the entire time? Oh no. Oh man, but doesn't he have form? He have four men that he knows on the team? What's going on? Stu, let's not jump to conclusions yet. We need to confidently analyze it. If I can't figure it out, I might as well stop thinking. I'll just head to the Sword Forge to get my answer. Stu. I do like Lin Yusha's new artwork now that she's playable. I saw a tourist dressed like a lungman downstairs. Probably one of your men? Came to pass you something, correct? That armband was evidence brought back from where the messenger team was intercepted and killed outside the city. You're using Miss Du. We have a lot of clues pointing us towards the forge right now, so we need to probe it a little. If the man is innocent, we'll have ruled out a decent possibility. She'll also feel at ease. There's something out with the sword forge. Won't you have to put her in danger? She's certainly not the one in danger here, Newman. Yusha, I know you have responsibilities. Maybe this is how you've always done things. I'm not about to argue over what's right or wrong, but I can't agree with your approach. I have to go help her. I suppose Lin has her acceptable losses. Lord Zo, what happened? A tall Forte lies in the hospital bed, his visage pale. He's still barely breathing. In his memories, Tahi was always like a mountain. The mountain stood beside his father himself, unshakable. What sort of force could break this mountain? Jolie has never even considered such a possibility. Monitor Sensor Tahi was brought to the military camp by two civilians not long ago. Tell me his condition first. By the way, I do like how their helmet has sort of the animal muzzle motif and all that. I get it's to match the general animal motif the characters have, but it's a clever design, I think. The medics say we've managed to save his life, but perhaps only his life. He suffered multiple external injuries, but what's more serious is the damage to his organs. He suffered massive internal bleeding. If he were an ordinary man, he would have already died. Uncle Tai shouldn't have been involved with this. He was helping me under the table. Where's father? The general's guarding the outer city tower. I've also notified the general, and there are only 4 words to reply. Stay at your post. Where are the ones who brought Uncle Tai here? Tell me the truth. We just saw the Forte dressed in Mandarin clothes lying by the roadside. We have no idea what happened. We figure we should bring him over here. That city is under high alert right now. What were you doing so late right at night? We had trouble sleeping, went out for a walk. Who would have thought there'd be someone lying by the road when we went out? Terrifying. So you live in the area but heard nothing strange? Nothing. Where did you find the wounded? In the south in the city, near the Sword Forge's alley. Sword Forge. I'm sorry, can I go home now? No. Testimony is unclear, so as a witness, we can't have you leave just yet. Well. Millennium, present. I'm moving out, gather your team, search the Sword Forge. Sir, the General's orders will stick to our posts. Father ordered me to hunt down the assassin and locate the sword in 3 days to restore peace. Even with his strength, Tai he has been gravely injured. This surely has some link to the Farinmut followers. Going to the scene of the crime to find the truth and arrest the culprit. Is that not sticking to my post? Go. Yes, sir. Newly distilled. A bit tricky, but looks like this is a multi-lane here. Oh my. Actually, that upper blue box in the upper left looks very annoying because only ranged operators can attack there. Alright, well I know what I need to do here to make this easier. As much as I typically prefer Amiya in her, saber form, I'm gonna have to change her to caster. Because at the end of the day, this mission needs ranged ops. Oh right, she's unlocked her module as well. I'll need to do that later. Probably more for the sake of the, lore that offered from it than anything else, but I've got a bunch of casters, I'm not sure how many of them I want to get the module for, because that was a lot. Hazel probably get for posterity. Kyobi I'm was actually working on before the stream. So that one I'll definitely have for next time. Aya, honestly, well, Aya's definitely the best one. I just straight up don't care for her very much. I found her kind of boring, so... sorry. Hazel probably get just for posterity, like I said, but... Here. What does Connie plot get again? I guess that's okay, but I'm really low on these module blocks, as you can see. Actually, does the shop have any module blocks? Yes, it has a couple. Okay, that's good. Haze will be dirt cheap. The real expensive one's going to be Kyobi, but luckily that's the only 6-star caster I intend to get the module for. Since, as I said, I find A a little boring. I'll probably get hers eventually, but it's not a priority. I want to have the ones I actually enjoy or have fun with first. So Kyobi, definitely. Connie, definitely worth considering. Haze, well, Haze was my main caster for a very good portion of the amount of time I'm playing, so... Plus, well, she's a 4-star. 4-stars have absolutely dirt cheap materials, so... Probably worth considering. Ami is probably worth thinking about since I really am dedicating to this silly gimmick. Ming, are you in there? I need to talk to you. It's Du Yaoi. Sorry, people keep it insisting. For some reason, people only message me significantly when I'm already, streaming. Well, as you can see, I'm a very professional streamer, so it should be okay. Stop knocking, miss. Did you see the sign on the floor? They close the dinner time. Come back tomorrow. Hey, are you listening? Go Mang, are you hiding something from me? Come in if you don't answer me. Another one. What's with the young people these days and going to the blacksmith in the middle of the night? Oh, you're, the innkeeper, Zhang's... Are you the man that came looking for Dad? Did you get to human, and why? I'm looking for someone. What about you? I'm investigating a case. The government's investigating the Sword Forge. Did Uncle Meg really do something? Sounds like there is something suspicious about this place. I'm the one asking the questions. Please don't obstruct the investigation, assuming you have nothing to do with it. Who's obstructing who here? Flash of a sword interrupts Duyao. Lock and the close sign falls to the ground, cut in half. Julie charges in. Yeah, this feels like an inquisition, not like an investigation. Then again, I guess that's somewhat intentional. Then again, there actually is a literal inquisition in Iberia, which, as we saw during Sulta Navis. So, yeah. Ming told me to keep an eye out. I didn't think there really would be someone here looking for trouble. I have to get help. What are you doing? I'm talking to you. You... Is this how you people investigate? Show yourself. Looks like we got ourselves a fight. Oh, I thought this was where the fight would start. Come in. Mr. Lee. I saw waifu just went off just now. Didn't even respond when I called out to her. She just graduated from university. Kids her age tend to act forward thinking. I hope you can give her some pointers. I'm in no position to act high and mighty in front of your employees. I was the one who made trouble for her. No worries, good experience. A few crooks are no match for her anyways. My father asking for your help last night? I wouldn't quite call it help. Just happened to overhear something when looking for someone. We detectives always happen to hear more than other people. Hopefully, it'll be of help to your case, too. I'd love to hear it. Please take a seat. Let me decide where to start. Hypothetically, what would happen to Lungman if Wei Yanwu and your father and I didn't, and Wei Yanwu and your father didn't get along? We're facing catastrophe on the outside and insurgents on the inside. The general's no time to see a commoner. I hear he knows the general. We should pass the word just in case it really is something important. Go up, the general will see you. He's on the tower. Nice deep. The stairs, however, remain bright as day, illuminated by originium spotlights on the walls. Mang walks slowly. The soldier behind him does not rush him. For more than a decade since he last climbed the towers of Human. Lord Exorcist, cut the formalities. What is it? I'd like to ask your permission to leave the city. I heard about what happened at the Messenger's party. There wasn't much left of it. There were a few boys in the Sword Forge in that party. Someone should pour out spirits and bring back a few grains of sand from where they died. Sir? Has lockdown been communicated to the entire city? Yes, sir. You heard him. Well, that's why I came to ask you. No. Sir, her human is currently moving at high speed over the barren desert. There's no point leaving the city right now. Enough. Yes, human has gone too far. How will we find our brothers' sand of wind? The dead are already gone. Forward progress of human permits no delay. The criminals who killed the messenger have infiltrated the city. The entire city is on high alert. Catching the criminals is the most important thing we can do for the dead. If that's the case, please allow us to join the hunt for the killer. We have many connections to the city. I'm sure we can be of help, especially with Zhang wanderers in the town city. Catching criminals and protecting human are the duty of the soldiers of human. I'm not so incompetent as need to ask for civilian help. Is that all? Can't help but wonder. He struck out in the midair with such force, yet managed to stop the momentum. The foul beast dives in the river and flies away with a fin, leaving only ripples in the water. Your mastery of Kung Fu has truly reached new heights. May I ask you to demonstrate one more time? Only if you can get that frightened sand beast to come out again? That's beyond my ability. A move is simply this abstract compilation of human reactions, something that's not and cannot be fixed. People don't react in fixed ways. Kung Fu is about improvisation. You don't let yourself be bound by form and moves when you record the martial arts under heaven. The form is under the shell, while the concept is a spirit. Grandmaster has taught me that long ago. Knowing and understanding are different matters. You should learn to be flexible. Huh? The Millennium is assembling the troops. A full 100-man regiment. That's quite big. Men are assembled, sir. Gear check. Then we go to the South Side Sword Forge. Yes, sir. Miss Cool, record keeper. Have you picked up on the Shisang's trail? Tahi was injured near the sword forge. Lozio was ordered to search the place. Has the Lord Exorcist himself been informed? The general stationed on the outer tower. He authorized Zoli to command personal troops for 3 days. Is there direct evidence the sword forge is involved? The details were unclear. Where's Julie? He went over first. He's very anxious about Tahi's injury. No doubt he rushed into this because of seeing someone he thought impossible to harm has been nearly killed. Some sword forge just a hideout for gangs. He's not here. So Mang just had dealings with a candle holder. I knew he couldn't be trusted. Still has catastrophe data. Find him. And after dispatching these 2 kids. Who are you? Where's Uncle Mang? Did you kill him or are you working with him? Where are the quees? Not in a talky mood. We can do this a hard way. Sword flashes past as Julie steps forward. He's swings his sword without a word, his brow furrowed. This is the second time Yo-Yo has been interrupted today, and it won't be the last. Son of a... At least I'm guessing it won't be the last, if only because they seem to like these running things. The old smith told me to stay in the house while I cover my injuries. Someone's intruded into the yard. Things are chaotic. Have they found me? Jayun holds the sword tighter in her arms. Shifu said the sword forge would be easy to find. There's many sword forges inns in the city, but you will always point towards the same place if you ask for the sword forge without specifying which one. Shifu was right. Said the sword forge was not big or impressive, just a few furnaces and an old tree, but there are always friends coming in and out, drinking, singing, sparring with each other. They come from all walks of life, but they fought together and went many places. They take turns fueling the fire, sometimes even grabbing the blacksmith hammer to bang on metal for a while. The bright fires keep the night away. Shifu says there's a place like this in every city, inconspicuous but indispensable. All Shifu talked about in her last days were these things, these people in this place. Who's there? This place cannot be allowed to come to harm. Stop. Making a mess of the yard. Go outside if you want to fight. They had help hiding in here. Why does she have the sword? Boss, the girl's injured. Kill her first, then. A gust of wind sends sand flying everywhere, obscuring the figures darting across the yard. The injured girl steps back, pressing on her wound, leans against a tree, panting. She does not notice Yoye's approach. The masked attacker once again disappears in the shadows. The young candle holder steps in the middle of the yard, shielding 2 girls behind him. A sword appears on his belt, attached to a hidden fastener. Sword! When did it? The impact. Broken leather strap falls, made by the hunters out of the hide of their prey. Tough, durable leather was perfect for holding a sword. A sword that's never left her side. This is the Grandmaster's sword. Now that I have it, I won't pursue this particular matter if you're not working with the Shianzong. Matter of you trespassing into the barracks can wait. Hey, get back. Who are you? Let me go. You're hurt. Stay put. I don't care about the sword, but you being here at the sword forge means you must know Mang. Tell me, where is he? Do you see 2 young people from Shingshu in the sword forge? I'll rip your wound open if you don't talk. Looks like they're not together. Those outside block the exit. Let them get away. Hear me? Sounds very close. He turns around, startled. The pain increases as he moves, becoming clear as the communicator is cut in half. He doesn't have time to regret. Kubai. I took care of the ones outside. Same group that attacked you at the market? Shanizong? Yes. Reckless. Not only have you failed to improve your kung fu, I can listen to your reproaches later after we've taken care of these. Wait. Her palm has begun to sweat after just a few moments. The yard, the heat, getting hotter. It's only March and it's night. How could the temperature be rising? Could it be the Originium furnace? The fire is out. Boss, we lost a few guys over. Stop wasting time, so you know you're wasting time. Do the cicadas sing in March? The air is so oppressively humid, it almost feels like water. This is no morning dew. Everyone realizes that something's out of the ordinary. A drop of water falls on Kubai's face. Spring comes late to the north. New leaves have yet to appear on the old pagoda tree. The water droplets form on the sword's blade. Master, where is Mang? Not here. Ran to them as we were preparing to leave. The sword. You're the one who attacked Tahi. Let the old times go.
Look at the map and figure out your route before we get in there. This is experience talking.
Let's have Amiya facing here.
Please hold on.
This should be good. Savage is probably the best lane holder that Rabbit Knights has, and I mean that with absolutely all implications that statement comes with.
I'm right here, Duck. Are you afraid of me?
I really need to mastery the skill more. I intend to use Caster Amiya. I probably need to use Caster Amiya a lot more since Rabbit Knights could really use it. Ooh, an instructor type of enemy.
Don't make any more noise. Here.
Just activate Amiya's skill as soon as it's active, I guess. Thank you. There we are.
I'm right here. Are you afraid of me? Go ahead. Stand still. Mission accomplished.
Easy. Who was that man? He just came in, looked around, and left. Could be plain clothes from the patrol battalion. Coming to see if there are any smugglers here. Plain clothes won't bumble like that or draw so much attention. They came to cause trouble. I'll go catch him. How? He's gone in the blink of an eye. Clearly knows Qingong. I was last in. Nothing. The girl said she wanted to leave the city, but she's not at the gates. Doc had to use the best meds to treat her. What if she doesn't come back and he puts the bill on my tab? I have to catch her. Not sure I understand your analogy. Ah, it wasn't exactly the most apt. I opened my little agency in Lungman to make a living, but business ended up better than I expected. Wei and Wu and the LGD can't deal with every little trouble out there. We need good citizens like Mr. Lin to pitch in. Can't be helped. Can't be helped. That's true for Lungman, and it's true for Human as well. Human patrols the northern borders to repel potential threats to Yan. Back when the Originium technology was not so advanced, it took several times the manpower to mobile fortress like Human compared to today. A group of patriotic martial artists went to Human at the time. They never officially joined the army, but they helped out with all sorts of things. Escorting messengers, scouting the path, even going to battle with the army. They played a key role in Human's peace and prosperity and earned the respect of the city. Court and Jiangsu were of one mind. That was how Human used to be until 20 years ago. The Shanghai Zong? Yes, once again, they were the reason. There's nothing else. Hope I didn't bother your duties. It would be on my head. You knew I wouldn't agree. Short whistle. The tower's originating lightning shuts off without warning, surrounding the apparent darkness. A flickering flame lights up the distance a while ago. The soldiers run back and forth, passing the torturing beacons. 17 roars the drum, dragged through the night sky, rapid through the rapidly moving young men. Today is the second day of the Weng Feng Festival. It was created to remind people of young men to remember the past. This meeting may have taken place earlier or later, but then you may have recalled a few things. I've never forgotten. You remember how many of the heroes who died for Human were not soldiers? They owe Human nothing, nor does Human owe anyone anything. Joe! Stand down. It was my negligence all these criminals in the city 20 years ago disguised as human martial artists. You can blame me, punish me, execute me. Place the blame fall only on me or on you. All responsibility falls to me. And have you taken responsibility, alienating the brothers who gave blood and sweat, driving them away? Is this your idea of taking responsibility? Human owes them an answer. Human belongs to Yan. All of it, all it does in service of Yanese people. That is my answer. This meeting is over. The name Shanhaizong is not widely known. It wasn't that anyone was negligent. Everyone that was so focused on guarding its external threats, they didn't realize that enemies were hiding in the shadows. Bodyguards, bouncers, blacksmiths, these civilians often fought alongside soldiers, enjoyed a great deal of freedom within human. Shanghai Zong took advantage of this fact. The city was caught off guard and responded slowly. The plot to destroy the city's power core was foiled, but only after heavy casualties were taken. After that, taking measures after the fact is still better than none at all. Ah, but the measures might have gone too far. After that, the Lord Exorcist began to reform the administration, removing Jiangsu involvement, setting increased restrictions on the movement of the people. Some of those who stayed joined the army, others put their swords down and took up another living. An ordinary cook at the inn may have been a famous swordsman back in the day. 20 years is plenty of time for a city to look very different. Dad always said there was to come a day when Lungmen won't need downtown or the Rat King anymore. There comes a day when the city no longer needs to patrol the barren lands, and the people of the city won't need to carry swords anymore. Times change. Some want to give it a push, others a pull. And they're all left behind. Isn't that the story I heard? Does it help? A lot, actually. Thank you, Mr. Lee. I swear, every time I see Mr. Lee, I like him more and more. What'd you learn? 10-man, 2-hour shifts, no extra guards, the sand sluice. Just as I saw. One thing I ask you to do. And the hour of you, I want you to cause a little commotion around the sand sluice. Nothing too big, just to draw away the patrols. What do you... Ask no questions if you still trust me. Alright. Do you see Zhu Jianlao in the tower? Yes, I did. It's getting hotter. Someone attacked Wei Yanglu last night and threw the Yuan barracks into chaos. You were the assassin. You cause abnormal weather wherever you go. Is it arts or some other trick? Murder of a messenger, attempted theft of catastrophe data, attempted assassination of court official. What do you think human is, Shehazong? A city headed the wrong way. This way is wrong. Go no further. You know why Yuan is returning. It's not hard to guess. Father tasked me to complete 3 tasks in 3 days. Recover the sword, catch the assassin, track down when the Shehazong would infiltrate the city. It turns out all the answers were right here in this sword forge. You won't complete any of them. Stand back. This one's kung fu is unfathomable. We're no match for him. You're not as strong as the Forte man, but you seem a little quicker on the uptake. So it was you who attacked Lord Taihe. You dodged the last strike. Will you dodge or block the next one? Neither. I've been told her that kung fu is like climbing a mountain, whether as a tool of revenge or a way of life. The more treacherous the path, the steadier one's heart must be. She saw her enemy, she saw the mountain. That's why she spent 5 years with him. If this battle cannot be won, she would seek to not lose. Offense is the best defense, I see. You have guts, I'll give you that. I wonder, is this girl a Kirin? If so, those are indeed quite powerful. I mean, I'm pretty sure most people are aware of Monster Hunter. Even before the crossover was announced for this game, I mean. And I'm very much looking forward to that. Sadly, we have to go through some reruns first, but I don't mind since that gives me more time to save up for those roles. I absolutely want the super limited more than just a regular limited. You have guts, I'll give you that. But things are not as simple as you think. They cross swords and she realizes her decision was impudent. She's facing another mountain. Cold steel flashes before her face, and droplets on her blade touching her nose. She can hear her own heartbeat. If the record keeper was here, he would have exclaimed, Kubai recreated the move on the training ground. Dive, stop, turn around before hitting the arc of death like the foul beast that narrowly avoids the waves in the river. Groans. You dodged again. How dare you? You? Get out of the way, Jolie! She grabs by the collar and pulls him back. He sees the foe's third swing, which lights up the yard. It's marched with a sword forward. It makes it feel like midsummer. Even the night sky is a little whiter than the heat wave. There appear only a pagoda tree, and there's nowhere to run. Sword. Move, you're still trying to take the sword. Do you want to get yourself killed? You're not dying until you tell me where Meng is. A burly man suddenly appears in the yard. He grabs the girl and knocks away the sword in one fluid motion. Like a bucket of cold water poured on the ground, he forces everyone to scatter. The heat disappears. I'm looking for you. Just let me go. You almost got yourself killed. I told you to stay in the clinic. Now you just made your injuries worse. Still inhuman, why? Oh, it's you. Your Shifu won't fight me until he's left his post. I have to wait for him. You haven't budged for 3 years? Nope. What's more important than this? Where can I find an opponent like him after he leaves human? There's a kung fu master right here in front of you. Why don't you go have a go at her if it's your fight you're looking for? This woman, you're in my way. Something didn't feel right when I blocked that attack. It was heavy, but it had neither form nor design. I don't know what the strange power is, but you're no master. I have no time for you. Hear that commotion outside. Jing, that man just broke in before I could stop him. And this is Tai's last workshop. It's been good to us. We need to protect it. Master Boss, there's more Jingyo adventures coming. And human soldiers behind them, coming from 3 directions. Around 100 total. No point wasting time here if the one we're looking for isn't even here. Sudden silence, as though Chiquitas were never there. It's still in March. The chill of early spring makes everyone shiver. Let's go. Stop right there. That's the one. Jing, where are you going, sir? Out of my way. Look at the mess here. Hardly anything's upstanding except the walls. You owe us an explanation. This is a UN military case. Anyone who fears will be arrested. Wait. You're Zhou Zhanlo's kid. So he wants to take down the last sword forge now? Impudence! Lord Zhou, did you see Sanhao on your way here? We've sent men after them. Good. Round them up and take them into custody. Sure, there are dozens, all local residents. They appeared right as the criminals retreated and obstructed our pursuit. They must be investigated thoroughly. Oh yeah, this absolutely is an inquisition. All the rest have something to do with the case. The girl in the exotic outfit is hiding in the sword forge. She must know where May. I'm going with you if you take her away. Sword forge is linked to Shinazong. Get your ties. Given your ties, I would have asked you to come with us regardless. As for you, she's coming with me to get her wounds treated and pay her bill. This is no time for jokes. Can't go with you. All you care about is the sword. Why you? Hey, what the? Take these people back to the barracks. I'll go after the Grandmaster's sword. Are you alright, Miss Q? Just a scratch. Do as Jolie says for now. Please treat these Jianghu people with respect, Millennium. That man. Noises continue to emanate from the direction of the sword forge. Waifu stops in her tracks. The figure on the roof vanishes in the blink of an eye, as though it was just a gust of wind. Waifu tightens her fists. She has never before been more certain. Well, there's only one fully anthropomorphic tiger man here,
So long as
so
it turns out
it kind
well,
of lowers
a
the
little
suspect
pain's
list.
no big problem.
Oh yeah, where's the quest here? Do I get the welfare? Oh, I have to clear stage 5 for the welfare. That's gonna suck. Well, I'm not even sure if I'm gonna build Jaehyun. For those who aren't familiar with her, she's basically just a 5-star version of Shiryuki. So she's good, don't get me wrong. It's just, well, Shiryuki is very easy to get and very cheap to build, whereas a 5-star is a bit more expensive, even if a welfare, making her a bit cheaper in comparison. So, yeah. Alright, this is gonna be pure cutscene, so let me grab a sip of my drink before we start. Alright, here we go. Pure cutscene time. I was born by the river. Dad told me the river links the entire world. Build a good boat and you can go anywhere. Dad hated the snow. People can't go out when it snows, so business stops and the whole family starves. That's how I got my name. I don't know what the business was. Only Dad would come home at the end of each month, the sword in one hand, stuff the family in the other, doing a present for me. Mom would sort through it and wash Dad's bloody clothes without a word. Then one day, a group of people wearing armor broke in the fort. Dad lived in the river all his life, and that's where he died. I only remember the leader. He didn't look happy at the total victory he'd won. Only gazed upon the river, died red with blood, lost in thought. There's only one thought in my mind. I want to take revenge. I found out where he lived. I left home, going from the easternmost edge of Yan to the westernmost. I learned the land was more than just the river. There were mountains, streams, forests, and plains. People lived in many different ways and dealt many different hardships. The river fort was too small. Dad might have chosen a different path if he'd come out and seen all the land under heaven. Dad was wrong. There's only so many places you can go in a boat. Finally, I came to Human. He stood atop the walls with the same expression. I began to understand. I should take revenge. That's about it. Why has the sword? The Kung Fu lunatic is too much for Zhou Li to deal with. Waited 3 years just to fulfill that promise. Interesting man. How are Tai's injuries? He's still unconscious. The one who wounded Tai was the same one who attacked Ye Wenwu. She got away in the chaos and was too fast for me to catch. Julie closed the sword forge. Many martial artists are under observation. Catastrophe lies before us, while the relationship between the military and Jiangnu is broken down. Yuan's only going to face even more chaos. I could hardly reproach him for being impetuous. You must take action yourself. General Zhou entrusted the garrison to me. I can't very well openly defy him. You know, I'm not just talking about what happened these past few days. You'll be leaving soon. You must answer those who looked upon you before you leave. Or do you think you could dodge questions you cannot answer directly? People think you're my student. Sometimes I even forget where you came from and treat you like I would Jolie and the Record Keeper. I never called you master. I'm not your master. You're a natural. Most of what you could do with a sword you learned on your own. There was little I could actually teach you. You hid my identity from the others, allowing me to stay inhuman. I can't very well abandon a child of the parents. Never thought I'd try to kill you, or that you think I could never defeat you. Oh, you didn't have to beat me if you wanted revenge. Just slip some poison in my food or push me off the wall. I was worried you wouldn't be able to let it go even after killing me. I would have called you a hypocrite if I hadn't hung around you for 5 years. 5 years, truly been that long. Not so long from your point of view, is it? Why would you say that? Your appearance hasn't changed the slightest, and you still have that sad, depressed expression on your face, as though you've grown tired of seeing everything that happens in the world. The slowest burden beast to realize you're no ordinary man. I've always thought the stories about long-lived races were a myth. Turns out there's one right next to me. You knew. I just never cared. I wanted revenge. How long you could live didn't matter. Thinking about you not being ordinary mortals, just looking for excuses. Like you said, climb the mountain one step at a time. All the other thoughts are just distractions. Can one truly let go of one's obsession with vengeance, one's obsession with victory and defeat, even when one's wish is fulfilled? Distractions make your sword slow. We mortals need our obsessions in order to keep living. You know that. You weren't so forceful when we first met. You taught me a lot these last 5 years. Only the basics of Kung Fu. As you said, you can only teach so much, and how much one learns is up to oneself. You should go and see those who remember you. Far too many elite have an obsession with you. Big man's gone. Stop right there. Again. If you're not in league with those criminals, why'd you steal the sword? What's the connection with the man at the clinic? I don't know them, and I don't know who he is. You don't understand what kind of trouble you've gotten yourself in. You've never lived in a nomadic city. You know nothing about human. Someone told me the sword... told you where the sword was, and you got to steal it, but you don't understand what kind of trouble that would bring. Tell me, things may still be salvageable. I told you, I'm not acting under anyone's instructions. I'm repaying a debt, even if the price is your life. Stop following me. Whatever the truth is, I can't sit aside and let you put yourself in danger. I'm trying to help you. All your words won't change anything. You're not a good person. I'm under orders to investigate. You're the one who stole the sword. You may have your reasons. It's no excuse for destroying the truth. The man who arrested all the smiths in the forge can't be trusted. They tried to cover the Shahazong's escape. They were there to protect it. All involved must be investigated until they're clear of suspicion. We face the double threat of catastrophe and criminals. I must abide by my duty, young. My clan only makes weapons for the strong, healthy Anasa who have reached the age of 16. Those who receive a weapon swear to protect the young, elderly, and the sick of the clan. You say things about not letting me put myself in danger protecting the city, but you point your weapon at the common people. This is my duty. Shiva's right. You people think you're always right just because of your lofty justifications. Alright, slow down on purpose only to find out no one's following. You two started chatting while I still have the sword? It's been a misunderstanding, sir. I ask you to return the sword to its rightful master. I heard you two arguing and more or less have an idea of what's going on. The sword belonged to the Grandmaster, but this girl snaked it out. I'm sure he doesn't rely on a single weapon. Don't tell me he sent you after it because he missed it so much. I'm afraid I'm not at liberty to say. Causing trouble for him would delay his retirement even more, but I promised to help this girl here. Oh, what a headache. Haha, I can't really be bothered with such complicated questions, but I have a quick and simple solution. Both of you have some kung fu, why don't you fight it out here and now, and whoever wins gets a sword. No weapons, hand-to-hand only. Ridiculous, how could something so important be determined so callously? I'm not fighting. Smack. I'm in a hurry. I figured that joke was coming, but... it is a rather simple yet reasonable solution, I suppose. Piston foot is 1 points of 5. Catch and parry barrage to open. Even within an inch, there lies right and wrong. Focus elsewhere only negates the effort. Oh. The day has barely begun to break. The inn's workers wipe down the tables and prepare food for the day in the kitchen. Lee rises to the call of foul beast in the backyard. The rooster, I think. And the sound of fists cutting through the air. Like father, like daughter. Nice. Lee. It's been a while since I've seen you practice this form. I thought maybe you had some sort of divine inspiration to help you rise above form and moves. Tease me like that. The only way to get better at martial arts is to practice, and there's no magic secrets. You're right about that. I remember how you got on the wrong side of the gang the first time you went on an errand for the company. When I arrived, all I saw was triads lying unconscious on the ground while you stood there like nothing happened. You were only 16. I started learning kung fu before I learned how to talk. You remember that? He told me, anyway. At least he taught you well in that regard. Like they say, your teacher can show you the door, but you have to be the one to walk through it. I suppose being shown the door is important too. Maybe this was the only thing he felt he could do as a father. I'm not trying to defend him. He wasn't a good father, but you shouldn't let that stop you from living the life you want. Consider your kung fu a gift. You can always tuck it away if you don't like it. Pursuit of kung fu mastery was his path, but does not have to be yours. Oh, I have nothing against kung fu, and of course I have my own life. I graduated magna cum laude with a degree in mechanical engineering from the Lehman University. I'm an employee of Lee's detective agency and field operator for Rhode Island, but not the first hero of justice to graduate from LMUST. I could be, if needed. Then tell him next time you see him. Lee, you just wouldn't just pick up that form you haven't practiced in a long time for no reason. Considering his irresponsible behavior all these years, it would be more than understandable if you wanted to pick a fight with him. It's okay if you lose. I doubt he was any better at your age. Jolie is young for a candle holder, but he's seen his share of cases. However, he has never been one where he could not fight back, nor has he ever been taught what to do in such a situation. Does he have a guilty conscience, or is he not willing to take advantage of an injured girl? All he does is block the attacks as they fall. They both fall to the ground, their faces covered in dirt, but the girl continues to strike with all that she has. It looks like a fight between children. Shakes head and sighs. Stop. The girl wins at this. Barely. Catch. Go and repay your debt. Come back and pay your medical bill. Alright. Here's your sword, boy. He didn't fight back because he knew she was hurt. No shame in that. No need to give me that look. The girl promised me she'll come back and I trust her there. If she goes back on her word, I'll catch her for you. You can go now. Why are you looking at me like that? Well, it looks like you're unharmed. Surprised or disappointed? I didn't want anything to happen to you. There was a misunderstanding. I'm sorry to get you into trouble. I've explained it to them and everything is fine. Hold on. The soldier told me that the armband that he gave me was evidence retrieved from outside the city the day before. Are you going to explain that to me or not? Why should I if you already know the story? Chris stops in midair and Lynn makes no attempt to block her dodge. You've only just met. I can understand if you don't trust me. You want someone to help you check out the sword forge. That's fine. You shouldn't have used my friend as a pretext. Sorry. Stop. You don't get to apologize to me. I won't forgive you. Oh, fine. Is this how Lungmanites do things? It's how I do things. Well, I'm not going to come away empty-handed from this. What'd you find? Tell me everything you know. I became certain of what I had suspected. Starting with attacking the messenger, something was off about everything we've seen so far. It wasn't a coincidence you ran the Shanghazong at the Sword Forge. It's proof that Meng was in league with them. So it was him? He's the only one with both motivation and means to plan all this. I don't understand why he'd do it. What else do you know about my friend's whereabouts? Not much, unfortunately. I sent someone to look into it. In the worst case scenario, all of the human could be in great danger. Hope that's not his goal or that he has a plan. All these years, Meng Te has rarely stood outside his workshop to gaze upon it. Inside, the yard felt cramped. Outer walls and door look more impressive when one looks on them from the outside. There are only a few days left in the month-long market. The streets are busy as ever, making the lonely sword forge feel conspicuous in comparison. The closed signs fall into the ground, replaced by red and white ceiling tape. A rivet's fallen from the door. He's never noticed, nor has anyone told him. I can see Niall. I couldn't even get this last one thing done properly. There's definitely a lot going on here. As expected, this is definitely a longer end. So With only one lane technically that I technically have to worry about, I might be able to do this with the rabbits, so one more go. Sun sets in the west. Both the people and city walls have cast long shadows, covering the stalls by the road. A vendor closes his umbrella and yawns. Closing up, 30% off on what's left, so I can go home for dinner. Just go. Tourists these days don't care about your toy weapons anymore. I would join the army if I had the skill forge real swords. Say, I saw a tourist carrying a blood red sword yesterday. Now that was something unusual. Wonder where it came from. The girl looks around perplexed. She's never seen a scene like this before. The ground rumbles slightly under her feet, likely a sign that Max City is decelerating. People in the streets seem unperturbed, given they're about their business as usual. She smells the aroma of food. Remembers she has not eaten for 2 days. Soreness all over her body hits at the same time as the hunger. Her legs take on a mind of their own, following the scent of the restaurant. What would you like? Whatever that person's having. Cold noodles with roasted meat for table 3. It's dinner time, the place is almost full. A good hearty dinner is the most comforting thing for honest working people who've been busy all day. TV on the wall plays a martial arts drama on repeat. A familiar story, occasionally catching the attention of customers. Why does the man in the box look like him? The swordswoman next to him looks a little like Shifu, but not quite the same. What does adapted from true events mean? Noodles, miss? Thank you. I say 100-meter scroll signed by every person in town. Now that's a meaningful gift. Ah, the Grandmaster's going on a journey. How's he going to carry that? Better have something practical, like some local food for him to eat on the way. How many years has Grandmaster protected Human? All I know is he's been around since before my dad was born. Must be more than 100. No wonder he's leaving his post. Must take a toll on him. I've heard some Jianghu wanderers say they've seen him lately, and he still looks like he's middle-aged. Wait, that look... Xiongyu looks middle-aged at that? Gee, she looks even younger than that to me. What, is he immortal or something? Heard there are those who live much longer than normal thanks to arts. The Grandmaster must be one of those. One thing everyone should remember is that he's the hero and protector of Human. Never heard about his spouse or kids, though. What a shame when you consider General Zhou's son is about to reach adulthood. They called him a hero. How'd you like your meal, miss? It was very good. Now the bill. I'll take care of it. Oh, thank you. Sure, now about that. We meet again. Did you lose your wallet or forget? I lost it. Oh, that's unlucky. Looks like you're new around here. I'm guessing you don't really know the place? I'll go with you to report the loss. Thank you, but I'm fine. I'll pay you back next time. Hold on. Is the sword the city we're looking for? Are you trying to take it too? What do you think I am, a thief? But I've heard rumors a special sword went missing. Could it be? I have to go. Who's there? Show yourself. Let's say you don't try... They say you don't try this with martial artists. Especially not with the martial artist. Am I a goner if he just takes a swing by instinct without looking? Then I'd have to arrest him for manslaughter. So, do I win the bet? You did. I had a bet with Lang Jr. here over how he'd react when he saw us. He said you'd turn around and leave, but I said he'd freeze up on the spot. Never seen one who could read others better than you. Well, he is my oath brother, not exactly a stranger. Don't worry, Waifu doesn't know you're here. A reunion of father and daughter calls for a much grander occasion, after all. I'm not like our Lord Magistrate over here who drags me into trouble the first time we see each other in a dozen years. Yeah, I know I owe you one. Is it too much sarcasm if I keep harping on this? Well, there's no one else here, just the three of us. We have wine and food. Shall we sit down and chat? The locations of all the suspicious warehouses have been sent to your terminals. Check out one by one, going east to west. Move quickly, time is short. Don't do anything rash. If you find something, contact the others, we'll move together. Were you looking for me? He reacts quickly. Years of experience taught him when it's time to fight and it's time for flight. As soon as he turns around, however, he has a hand on his shoulder, immobilizing him. Aw, crap, he used the Vulcan knockout to hold. Why trying to run if you're looking for me? You... Sharp, but not enough guts. Fix that and there's potential for bigger things for you. The old man withdraws his hand. Tell Miss Lin I'll be waiting for her at the warehouse of the Southern City on the 5th Street. Block 7, Hour of Shen. Not drinking? Well, I'm still technically on duty. What about you? Alcohol isn't good for you. What are we gonna do for not drinking or talking? Just stare at each other? Don't you have something to ask him, Mr. Lang? I could ask you the same. Have I gotten to the point where we can't talk while sober? If you have something to say, say it. What have you been doing? Wandering. Looking for strong opponents in each new place till there's no one left, then I move on. I had to study Mr. Lang to see what changes were over the years. You, why, or guess why? Wear them on your face. What changed? You got old. Well, that's obvious. I was actually worried I was going to hear someday that you died in a duel. Would I? Well, there's always someone better, as they say. So how long have you been a human? 3 years. There's someone who promised to fight me. He said it would take 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, maybe more. Why, Tenpai, so obsessed with earning fame, patience? What's a few years here? There's no one else to fight anyway. So you've been working the clinic for 3 years. The scent of herbal medicine covers the aroma of the wine. There's nothing left but a bitter taste. I spent almost a month asking the various schools, never imagining what you were right here in this clinic opposite the inn. Hey, debts have to be paid. You know who it is you owe the biggest debt. That's all I have to say. What about you, Mr. Lang? Just here to see how an old friend's doing. It's not an interrogation. You've been a human for 3 years. You've been here a while yourself, but you picked this time to visit. It's no time to consider private sentiment when there's unrest in the city. In your patriotism, you won't even permit commoners like us to think of private sentiment. What do... I'll sit for a while longer if you're really here to reminisce about the old times, but look at us. We've gotten to the point we can't even talk freely. Boy picks up his cup, drinks it dry, and leaves the room. Did you get the answer you were looking for, Mr. Lang? Well, I guess so. As Oath Brother, or as the advisor of human? You should be used to you seeing through things by now. Maybe you should change your habit of bringing trouble on yourself. At least don't get to the point where you don't even have someone to talk to. There's a job I might just be the right man for. Like how you had me handle that goblet. Nothing that complicated. Oh yeah, during invitation to wine, they were basically fighting over a holy grail. It was hilarious. It's also the event that had Ling, and Ling is pretty popular among the siblings. So, I think, in fact, I think that very event is rerunning after this. Though I'm not going to be streaming it. I actually did complete that one when it was relevant, so... Fortunately, there won't be anything new for me to do there. Even when he's Tenpai, he's still Wai Tenpui. He's the hardest to change. What about you and I? Same flowers, same wine, but the spirit of youth is no more. It's precious enough we can still sit around the same table and chat over a drink. It's a fool's errand to try and go back to the past. Trying to stop me too? A lot's happened over the past couple days. There's a lot happening I'm not sure about. Mean no harm. I suggest you stay to explain what's happening. I don't have time. Hand it over. No. Do they follow you? I don't know them. Are you the ones who've been causing trouble around town? Stupid girl. Smack. Was she holding back when she fought me in the ring? Those crooks sure can bark even if they can't bite. Okay, now we're getting to the fight.
Look at the map and figure out your route before you get in there. This is experience talking.
Oh, I failed to see the blue box on the far left side over here. Oh dear, that's gonna make things a bit more complicated, isn't it?
Got it. Shh. Don't make any more noise. I won't sleep on the job. There you are. Please hold on. Oh, is it might stand still?
That was a little dangerous, but we got it. Has invisibility, next attack will increase damage. That's going to be a little annoying. Let's get Savage out here first.
Here I am.
Savage can take hits better, well, comparatively better. I really don't like that she has comparable bulk to Air Scarp. Air Scarp is, I would just personally describe as a glass cannon. At least for my personal description.
Hey, everyone believes in me.
Let's put someone who can actually block up here. There we go. That's a lot of damage they're doing to air, to Savage, yeah. Yeah, there's no real tanks among the rabbits, at least not yet.
So long as it turns out well, a little pain's no big problem.
Excellent. It's been a little under 3 hours. I forgot to collect my rewards. Whoops. Ah, first step the wild.
My birth name? Doctor, you understand the Anissa language? But I would rather continue to use the name Cherion. Shifu gave me this name, and I like it.
There we go. We have the welfare and a decent amount of items. Ooh, including some module blocks. I definitely need those. But I'm getting tired, and the fights are getting rough, and this is a bit of a long event, so I'm going to call it here and continue it next time. So... Alright, sorry for the interruption, but I do want to make sure I'm not too off there. Let's see here. Looks like Cozy Nero is doing some Deceive Ink, so I guess they seem like a good one to raid for now. I'll go ahead and do that. Alright, well, rabbits were able to get a decent length into the event. But the satellite's probably going to end here, and so I'm getting a bit exhausted, so that's going to be all. Until next time, thank you for watching, hope you had a good time, and be sure to give all the love to Cozy Nero. Alright, see you later.